Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Spitballin'. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy
Kyle Amundsen.
How are you doing today, Kyle?
I'm good, man. It's been a good day, good week so far. It's off to a good start.
Well, it is a good day. It's like a holiday because it is the day that Disney Plus premiered.
Yeah.
It is November 12th today. You guys won't actually see this till Sunday, but today is the day that that Disney Plus premiered. Have you gotten it yet?
Yeah, I got that all set up.
You did?
Yeah, because I was worried about how that was going to go. Because for I was told that you had to I'd have to cancel my fucking Hulu subscription and then join via Disney and shit to get that bundle. But you can just join via, you can just go, you can do it so that you don't have to fuck around with your Hulu subscription. And they just credit you $6 to your, you get the bundle. They credit $6 a month to your Hulu account.
Oh.
So, I mean, basically I got all that shit for $6.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney, I haven't found ESPN yet, which is weird.
It's supposed to be on there. So I ordered it yesterday, and then today I went on and was checking it out, and it seems like it's a little less than is advertised, but I'm sure that their catalog will grow.
Sure.
Because in the Marvel universe, there's a ton of shit missing. Yeah. And I was like, well, I thought you owned.
There's some stuff missing in Star Wars too.
And there is, yes, there's no Rebels.
Oh,
which I'm like, no, it's all right. Well, okay. When you go to the Star Wars and then, whatever, it wasn't on there. And I was like, Rebels was on there?
Yeah.
The animated
series?
I
looked at it today because I was like, okay, I'm definitely rewatching the other
Clone Wars.
And I was like, and Rebels too. And Rebels was right next to Clone Wars on there.
That must be your phone dinging.
So it must be, it must be populating.
Right. I assume that's what's happening. But you did not watch The Mandalorian yet.
I did not.
I did.
And yeah, and I purposely didn't watch it because I thought, oh, Matt's busier than you, Kyle. Don't watch it. Because I was like, okay, do we have a little watch party or something? Or do we do a supplemental? But we won't get I do think we should do a supplemental, whether we do it now or do it on Saturday or whatever. Of course, Sunday's the next day. We can just talk about it then.
We could just take 40 minutes and watch it and then just come back.
Right.
I'll watch it multiple times. I thought it was really good. I didn't have any issues with it.
Well, I mean, we love Westerns.
And
exactly. We love Star Wars.
Right.
And this is a space Western.
Right. Now, the only thing that would make it better, and who knows, maybe it will, but...
Titties?
No, I've never... I think we've talked about that before, but I've never been a big fan of sex in TV. Mm. Yeah, I feel like it's just, you can skip it for the most part. I mean, unless you're watching, I like my porn to be porn, and I like my TV to be TV. I don't really like them. I don't really need them to mix.
Sure.
Especially if I'm watching it with my kid, and then I'm like, we were watching Carnival Row.
Yeah.
The other day, me and Pates were, and
then
about halfway through it, I'm like, do I really have to watch Orlando Bloom bang this chick against the dresser for 45 minutes? I mean,
fucking.
It's like, I just was like, so I just look at
Come on, Legolas, wax that ass.
Yeah. But I really liked it. The only thing that would make it better is if Cad Bane could show up, and possibly he will, because he could, their timeline wise, it could definitely happen. So I was trying to figure out the timeline. Do you know when this is supposed to take place?
So The Mandalorian takes place after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
But before anything else. So the fall of the Empire, but before the
new Empire rises.
That fucking boy band that fucking whatever the fuck his name is.
The weird lightsaber dude.
Yeah, the fucking
emo.
Yeah.
When, when the Cure becomes a Jedi.
Yes. Why can't I think of his name?
I can't either.
Kylo Ren, yeah. The Fourth Order, or what is it? Man, okay, I know.
As much of a
I feel like a bad nerd right now.
Yeah, as much as a Star Wars geek as I am, I've only watched the new episodes one time and haven't ever revisited them.
Yeah, we need a millennial that actually likes that shit to fact check us on that. So, but yeah, I mean, like that the biggest, of course, that's naturally the biggest thing today. I also, with my hand healing up and stuff, I lifted, did chest for the first time in 4 weeks today.
Yeah,
that was humbling.
Shirt?
Huh?
Your booby shirt?
No, it's not going to be like that.
You couldn't lift very much?
Yeah, well, so it's healed up well, but like the pad of my hand is still very sensitive where they had to because they cut it, they split all that shit and they peel it back and so that's still really tender. And, so I'm in there, I was benching, doing sets with 135, which is,
I have no idea.
That's just a 45 on either side.
But I don't know if that's a lot or a little. I'm assuming it's a little.
It's a little. It's like what a child would use. Because, like 315 is what I normally do like sets of 10 with.
Right, right.
And then I go in there.
So at what point does the bar start to bend? Is that about 300 where you start to get a little
bar's
flex
still
in
pretty
the bar?
straight at 405.
At 405? Holy shit.
But like 495, the bar is bending.
Wow.
Noticeably. Did I say 405? 495.
495 the bar.
Yeah, 495 the bar's bending pretty good.
Jesus.
Not like brr, but I mean like it's very clearly bending at 495. So.
Huh. Yeah, it just seems unsafe.
Which I'll probably never that I'll probably never see again.
I highly doubt that I could bench 135 or whatever number you threw out there.
Well, I mean, you could if you just did it a couple of times and got your muscles got the.
I don't think I could anymore.
Felt it and got it down.
Not because I'm not strong enough, but just because my elbow's so whacked.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, might have to have surgery on it. I've been using this. Have you ever used this shit?
By the way,
have you ever used that?
Show them.
Oh.
Duck, gay duck.
Yeah, it's a nice meta.
Love that a lot. Yeah. And my favorite Star Wars shirt.
Yeah, that's a great one.
From the Mos Eisley Cantina.
There was a band that
don't like you.
There was a band that used to play at the Shine. New Sound Underground, and they're just awesome band, bunch of horns, crazy fuckers, and we were going to have a Star Wars. We had a Star Wars art show. So like everybody submitted Star Wars.
I wanted to go to that, and I had something else going on.
Dude, there was some really awesome art there. But I contacted those guys and I said, we're going to have this art show. I was wondering if you guys were interested in playing. And they were like, they kind of worked out. And I was like, but if you do, you got to do the Cantina song from Star Wars. And they were like, we will start working on it immediately. It didn't end up working out for whatever reason, but yeah, have you used this KT tape at all?
I have not.
It's like, I don't know what the whole concept of it is, but you like, it's elasticy tape and you like stretch it on or whatever, but I don't know. It seems to help a little bit, but yeah, I got to go in next week and get it looked at, but they might have to cut it off. So, which is usually what I go for, straight to amputation.
We don't fuck around.
You ever hear that story about that dude who used to train at the gym? I'm not going to mention his name, but he was a fucking idiot. And
oh wait,
yeah,
yeah, I remember that guy.
And he was just a big spaz, just a muscle bound, been in prison, whatever. And he just tried really, really hard and always wanted to like win. But jiu-jitsu, no matter how tough you are, it takes skill.
Finesse.
There's no way around it. No matter, even if you're Tony Martin, there's still a learning curve. You still have to go through the time where you're going to get your ass kicked. And this dude was not fucking Tony Martin. He just wanted to be. And he ended up breaking his finger pretty bad, which happens. It's fairly a common injury in jiu-jitsu because you'll end up getting your finger like wrapped in a gi and you'll break your finger. And there's nothing you can do. You just got to like let it heal, right? But he fucking wouldn't let it heal, kept on training. Ended up having to have surgery on it. So he had this big, nasty, like, his finger was like the size of a fucking cucumber, It was just disgusting. And and then, he still wouldn't stop training. And everybody's like, dude, you gotta stop. And then he ended up having to get his fucking finger amputated. So whenever somebody is being a dumbass at the gym, we're like, dude, fucking knock it off. Like it's like a gang sign for being dumb. So, yeah, he was a fun one. He is no longer with us. He didn't die, so you don't have to contact him via Facebook.
Which is my superpower. Don't think you can do that at home.
Yeah, but
I'm still communicating with the deceased.
Yeah, he's just dead to me. Yeah, Mike seems like he's doing good.
Yeah. But like fucking hard
for a dead guy.
Man. Yeah,
yeah, not bad.
He's resting peacefully. So I have a story a short story that I think you might enjoy. And this harkens back to an episode just a couple of weeks ago. So I when after I got the surgery done, I had this hand wrapped and stuff like that, and I was complaining to Christine about my problems wiping my butt, and she's like, you need one of those things, like that splashes the water in your butt. She's like, yeah, you need a bidet. Dead serious. Called it a bidet.
That's awesome.
So, I like that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's great. Kyle, you haven't been able to wipe your own ass in
man,
years.
It's awkward looking, and it involves kind of a handstand.
You got to do
and a loofah and on a stick, and it's.
You start warming up, and it's like, what are you doing? I gotta go take a shit. I gotta loosen up so I can get to my butthole.
I'm sitting down there just stretching, and although I'm telling you, now it'll go away because I'm lifting again, but for a minute there, I felt really limber. I was like I fixed the tag. I was like, watch this, honey, and I fixed the tag on my own shirt, and I was like, ooh. This feels good. And Cody's like, you should join jiu-jitsu now. And I'm like, yeah, still no.
It's funny how how getting stronger reduces flexibility.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
But even jits, which you'd think would be kind of a flexibility driven thing, but some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life is a bunch of us bozos trying to do yoga. Brock Larson doing yoga is fucking hilarious. So, and it looks painful, and it is. Yeah, back in the day, Matt Rohr used to do yoga at the gym with us, and it's just funny watching all those tough guys just whine and cry and complain. So, speaking of Brock, Tony did pretty good.
Yeah. Ramazan Emiv. His Russian opponent was a fucking tough guy.
Yeah, with
a good record. And Tony went to Moscow and won a unanimous decision.
Yep.
I didn't. I had to watch the fight later on. I didn't get to watch it live. I thought that I got that. I did not. I was mistaken. That hurt my feelings. But yeah,
I didn't get to watch it. But is that going to be included in the Disney Plus thing? The ESPN2 or ESPN2?
It's I'm not sure. That was my first question when I was looking for it today, and I'm like, where the fuck is Disney? I mean, where the fuck is ESPN? But we'll see.
Yeah. See, the only way I ever get to watch anything is at the bar, and then only because even though Ninth Street's a big sports bar, nobody is into MMA there. So if there's the Gophers are playing or any other sports going on, then I have to fight for a TV.
Well, so and MMA event, watching MMA at the bar is worse than watching football. I mean, the reason that I don't the chief reason that I don't like to watch football at the bar is all the experts. I would listen to some dipshit that's never laced them up, fucking talk about
yeah,
well, what they should do and shit. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, back in the day, I don't think it is that much anymore. Just because there's so much, nobody even cares. Fights are on, and nobody even pays attention to them anymore. But I mean, I remember back in the day when the fights were big. We'd go to Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. I remember watching Frank Mir and Brock Lesnar, and just the people were just being so fucking stupid, and it's like they just have no idea what they're doing, what they're talking about, and I mean, even though I kind of knew Brock Lesnar a little bit, and he was from Minnesota, and I met him a couple times. I really wanted him to get his ass kicked. And
well, I think anybody that, I think that's people that meet him's general, like once you meet him, you're like, I hope you get your ass kicked.
He really is have you met him?
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. He is just one of those guys where you're like, ugh, you're a fucking turd of a human, man.
Yeah. Just like that whole, like, I get it. You were a big deal. That whole, like, what people think of when they think of douchey jocks.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure. So.
And I mean, just not very gracious towards the fans.
That was when I was like, just got a sour stomach toward him. Was at one fight he had his little, he was sitting up front and they had kind of like an entourage and little area. And this kid came up and he had I think he had like a WWE card. I think they had those cards you could collect. It was something like that. And he really wanted to get an autograph. And Lesnar fucking went like this, and his guy went over and told the guys to fuck off. And I was like, oh my God, you're a douche.
Yeah.
And then in comparison with Little Brock, I remember one time going to the grocery store with him. And this was kind of at his zenith when he was, fighting in the WEC and stuff. And we had to go to the grocery store. I had to go to the grocery store for work, and we needed to talk about something. And I was like, just come with me. We'll go. Fuck, it took forever to get to the grocery store. He signed like 40 autographs and was, like hugging everybody. And it's like, it's a totally different creature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what else you got on your list?
Just a couple of little things. Well, one thing that and this came from work this weekend, actually. So I've talked before about how I love my job. And like Friday night, something did not get done. Something that's like just a routine thing that's on our list. That between the bartenders and I, this did not get taken care of. And our boss sends out a group text.
Okay.
And I was like, even though I had I was already gone, I'd left, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, that's something normally, had I been there, I would have taken care of.
Right.
But I wasn't there. And I wasn't there because it was such a slow night that I was like, okay, I'm out, I would have stayed, believe me. I've got nothing else going on at fucking that time of the night. Just to save money on payroll and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, can't stick around in good conscience when there's no one there.
Right.
So I split. And so I think about it. And I'm like, you know what? My responsibility though. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, that's my fault. I blah, blah, blah. And then of course, the bartender that was in charge is like, no, me. My fault. I didn't get that done. So at the end of the day, my responsibility, And
did a bunch of fucking people line up and start giving you their fucking Zorba shirts?
Spartacus. Huh?
Did a bunch of people line up and start giving you their Zorba shirts or something like that?
Oh man, fuck you in that bad Rudy reference. So I'm like, how many places do you work at where people are like, no, that's my responsibility. Where people are lining up to claim responsibility for something that goes wrong, and I'm like, that's not fucking everywhere. People make excuses and shit.
I feel like that's like a superpower, is the ability to take responsibility for your fuck up, and it's a superpower that people just don't have anymore.
No.
And I don't know, we talk too much about politics anyway, but especially in our politicians, it seems so to admit that you fucked up is
you may have been wrong about something is a sign of weakness instead of character.
When did that start?
It's pathetic.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember back in the Obama days, back in the glory days of Obama. And say what you will about Obama, but I will come and find you and fuck you up. No, I did really like Obama, as a president.
As did most grown-ups.
But I liked him as a man as well. But I mean, that was something that I always remembered is, him taking responsibility when he fucked something up. And, it was so fucking refreshing.
Yeah. Character, integrity. But it's just and then the making excuses thing, it's just like when somebody makes an apology, and I'm always like, don't bother to fucking apologize to me. if you're going to like if it's just a if it's just like an intro for all your fucking string of excuses,
right?
You know? Because like, well, you know, like I'm sorry, blah blah blah, but blah, 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 you know, and then you go on to tell some like you take responsibility for something, and then you go on to list all the reasons that it's not actually your fault. You know, or try to explain your shitty actions and stuff. The apology should be good enough, and it waters down an apology. It fucking ruins an apology.
Yeah.
You know, when you don't know how to just apologize. Nobody wants your fucking excuses.
I don't even really like apologies. I just like I like it when people take responsibility for their actions. You know, so instead of saying I am sorry for whatever, just saying that was my fault. And I will make sure that it doesn't happen again, or I will take these actions to make sure it doesn't happen again. Yeah. That's enough. That's manning up.
Yeah, grown up shit.
Or personing up. I'm trying to get rid of the manning up thing.
I was just thinking about that on the drive here because I'm slowly organizing a book.
You are?
And it started off.
We could do a segment where we each do a chapter. Every month. Well,
mine is going to be fucking boring. It's really
perfect.
Like industry specific. I was going to write, you know, because there's only one. The most popular book about bouncing out there.
There is a book about bouncing.
Yeah, and it's by. Okay, so you know, different strokes for different folks. But if you want to write a book about something, that's cool. You know, like make it, you know, like almost like a manual. You know, like this is. It shouldn't be all stories about you and pictures of you in a sleeveless shirt by your Harley, you know, or telling people how fucking tough you are, you know.
But you did enjoy that documentary that they made about bouncing, Roadhouse.
Yes, absolutely.
That was a good one.
Actually, that is. There's a couple of things from that are really the most useful tips that you can give a guy in that industry.
The throat strike.
Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely.
That's it, the best one.
And I used to fuck guys like you in prison thing. No, but that be nice, be nice. You know, that's good advice for anything.
So you're gonna write a book about how to bounce.
Something, yeah. The mindset. You know, the like the do's and don'ts.
I actually think that would be good.
Well, and then I started thinking about, you know, but some of it. As I was thinking about the stuff that I wanted to include and the way that I want to organize it, I'm like, this might be a book on how to be a man.
Right.
You know, and which is something I also thought about just because, you know, it was actually suggested to me. It's actually been suggested to me a couple of times about just, you know, being a man. And you know, and I was like, okay, what do I have to like what kind of disclaimer do I have to put on there so I can, you know, so I can be like, without, so people are like, well, you know, blah, 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 just men, you know, which, you know, my disclaimer will probably be shut the fuck up, because men are a real thing, right. You know, and some people are men and some people are not, you know, and you know that doesn't mean anything like fucking discriminatory. I mean, there's plenty of women out there that are more a man than a lot of dudes that I know. So, you know, you know, it's just, I was thinking about it and I'm like, man, what kind of book am I fucking working on here? But yeah, so I think, you know, and I think there should be, you know, maybe a book out there, you know, for that stuff. And especially considering what the alternative is, I would hope that people would be like, yeah, I would rather read this than this, like, I'm fucking badass, and here's what happened this night at this bar in this, you know, like, and then I got on my fucking Harley and I rode the fuck out of there, you know, like, okay, dude, you know, we get it. I loved your book. No, I fucking didn't.
The only industry specific book I can think of like that is Waiter Rants. Did you ever read that? I think that's what it's called, or Wait Rants, something like that. Actually, oddly enough, it was Abby that gave me that book or got me to like read that book, but it's a story. It's a basically kind of a memoirs from this waiter that worked in a high-end restaurant and some of the horrible shit that went on in restaurants. It wasn't really a how-to though, but it was entertaining. Some of it was fucking funnier and shit. So, Not necessarily the best look inside the restaurant world, though.
Well,
But there's some crazy shit that goes on in the restaurant world. There is that.
Yeah, shit, yeah. I gotta keep an eye out.
Yes, so Chris, what's Chris's last name?
Dunmire.
I have a really hard time with last names. Like, could be Dunmire, Dunmire is our guest today. So that will be kind of fun. Chris is a friend of the show. I've never met Chris, but we're friends on Facebook. So
man,
we're
he
like brothers.
is a baller. I've known Chris for quite a while. He's helped me out a few times. Like when I needed an extra guy or whatever out at the bar. He's been grew up in the industry.
Yeah. We don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah. We'll get to that stuff.
Yeah.
I do have one last thing.
Shoot.
Have we ever talked about, because we're always talking about movies and stuff. Have we ever talked about The Last Samurai?
No. Interesting movie. What are your feelings about The Last Samurai?
So I thought I was going to be tough on this movie. I saw the preview and I'm like, okay, preview looked cool, but this movie's going to be fucking stupid.
Yep.
Kind of based on a, actual person, some
very
loosely based on an actual event and stuff. But you know what? 20 times later of watching that movie, I fucking love that movie. That movie is fucking badass. It's cool. It's dramatic. Man, that shit gets me. Like, that fucking movie is awesome. Love that movie.
I also really loved The Last Samurai, but it's kind of hard to say because it was riddled with really ridiculous shit. But it was super fucking cool.
Yes.
But I had a real issue with a guy who had never trained in, sword fighting before. I mean, he was a cavalry guy, so he had a fucking cavalry saber, but he never trained in sword. And then he goes and joins these fucking samurai, and within a short period of time, he's the equal to the most badass swordsman. No, these motherfuckers have trained since they were 4 in the sword.
But did they? I mean, he was equal to some of the guys, right?
But there's the scene where he and the main trainer guy are going at it with the bokken, and he ends up they end up doing the. I really should know what a when 2 people kill each other at the same time was called.
Oh, gotcha.
Pond sand, but anyway, doesn't matter.
Pound sand?
Yeah, it's something like that. Anyway, I was just like, and actually, so when I first saw it, I was really just upset about a lot of things. But then, 20 times later, I have realized that it is a pretty fucking good movie.
Yeah.
Another thing that bugged me about the movie, though, is that it was very Eurocentric especially in the sense that the only fucking person that gets to live, and this is a spoiler alert, by the way,
is the white guy,
is the one fucking white guy, and had they just all died, I think that movie would have went from being okay to fucking epic.
But it needed a happy ending.
No, it did not need a happy ending. Movies do not need fucking happy endings.
Matt, that happy ending is the only thing that kept you from sobbing for a half hour after that movie.
I wanted to sob for a half an hour.
Damn it. Okay, that just shot that theory down.
And just because somebody lives does not make it a happy ending. Saving Private Ryan did not have a happy fucking ending. As he's standing there in the fucking graveyard saying to his wife, "Just tell me I'm a good man." That's not a happy ending. He lived. He lived. Oh, God, speaking of WW Dos, Ron Barron's grandfather did an interview about Veterans Day. He's passed away now, unfortunately, because Ron sent me the link to the YouTube video. I'll post it. I'll share it on the Facebook thing, but it seemed like a really cool guy. But he said, "God damn, I wish this guy was still alive because he would have made a fantastic guest." And I was like, fuck yeah, he would have. Seemed like just an amazing man. And, we just passed Veterans Day. And, I don't think a heck of a lot about Veterans Day. It kind of just, kind of washes over me. And though I've known shit tons of vets in my life, my grandfather fought in World War II. My father was a vet. And but I don't think a lot about it. But then okay, I'm going to tell this story. I think I may have already told the story, but I think it makes sense. So like, I didn't think a lot about 9/11 when it happened, right? Even though like on the day 9/11, I found out that my wife was going to have Peyton. So that day is sealed for me, but I never cried or anything about like the tragedy. And I didn't for years. I mean, it just kind of washed over me. And then years later, I'm driving down the road and I'm listening to this NPR story about how, like the businesses that were at Ground Zero were starting to come back. And there was this little taco shop that these people went to, and I had to fucking pull over, like, cause I couldn't relate to thousands of people dying in this tragedy, but I could surely relate to this taco stand, and these people that came in there, and now Joe doesn't come in anymore because he didn't make it. And I was like, fuck this, So it's kind of like that with veterans, in that like, I understand there's a lot of people that go over there and serve, and I have, the utmost respect for them, but it doesn't punch me in the balls until you see somebody like Ron's grandfather who is, like went over there and fought the good fight.
And, well, but that's, I mean, sometimes it takes something, like more personal or, closer to home to make something like really resonate, with you. I mean, you could go like, you could just fake it like a lot of people do, which
right.
Like I'm like, yeah, I see, it's easy to say that shit, and I try to be as honest about that sort of thing as possible. Like, do I appreciate these people's sacrifice? Of course. Do I feel the need to like tell everyone how much I appreciate these people's sacrifice?
Right.
Not really.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like when people, and I mean, again, like I really appreciate the sacrifice that the veterans have made. But I feel like when people get on Facebook and are like, say all the, it was like, that's all you saw in Facebook all day on Monday. And it was like, are you saying it for them or for you?
Exactly.
And that kind of bugs me. Is Chris here?
No.
Okay. Well, so on that subject about the 9/11 and me, like, having that personal experience with it or whatever. I was talking to Guante, Kyle Train. Yeah. One day, he came up to do this poetry, how to write a poem, like seminar. It was super cool. 4 hours, really awesome. And we were talking about it, and he one of the questions, or one of the exercises he did was talking about like the difference between a puddle and a well. You don't want to, when you're trying to like, or a lake and a well or whatever it is, when you're trying to like write a poem, you don't want to write a poem about like love. You want to write a poem about this point in time where you were sure that there was love. You want to make the well, not the puddle, or not the big body of water. You want to dig down deep. And we were trying to come up with examples of that. And I had mentioned that, and he's like, yes, that is exactly an example where you can't write a poem about the tragedy of 9/11, and maybe you could, but like, it's a big fucking subject. But when you can drill down to in like talk about the empty bar stool at the taco shop, that's something that you can relate to. I just thought it was an interesting thing. So, God, I want to have that guy on.
Please, Guano, come on the show.
He's never going to come on if you keep calling him batshit.
Man. I'm sure he's got a sense of humor.
Oh,
he's probably heard that 100 times.
I don't know if he has. Well, maybe.
And I enjoyed that guy. I just, like after like watching him like perform, I just assume that he's fucking probably awesome. And he likes, and I appreciate that he, like he tackles like some of this, like one subject that he covers in particular kind of resonates with me, because I always think about that and try to like keep myself in check like that. The whole masculinity thing.
Very much, yeah.
And actually, like, I've been like, one of these days, I don't know who a good guest would be to have on to talk about this sort of thing, but the whole like toxic masculinity thing and stuff.
Right.
And I don't, which I think is a term that I fucking hate.
Right.
No, I always talk, you know, even though like I always use like the macho shit, you know, like too macho for that. I know that I'm guilty of some of those behaviors too.
For sure.
Now, that being said, I think that some of those behaviors are not as horrible as people make them out to be, you know?
I think
people get like misogyny and manliness like fucked up.
Right. See, that's what I was going to say too. That like it seems like recently, last few years anyway, it's become some kind of crime to just be a man.
Yeah.
Now, this gets to be tricky because you could also say it becomes some kind of crime to be white, right? And I mean that's an argument that a lot of people make, and those people are called racists. But there is truth in it as well.
There is.
That like coming from a place of privilege it's a difficult place to come from. That said, coming from a place of not privilege is a really difficult place to come from. So it's a fucking tricky subject. But being a man is not a bad thing. Being manly is not a bad thing. And it doesn't mean that you don't cry at movies.
Yeah.
It means that you're willing to take responsibility for your actions.
Yes. You know, and you know, being comfortable in your masculinity and being secure and stuff like that, you know, like,
right.
You know, like shit. A lot of the things that people get fucked up over, like the macho thing and stuff, you know, I'm like, oh man, really? Like, are you too tough to admit that, you know, like,
right. It's a lot like people that are anti-gay, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like
that methinks he does protest too much.
Are you a little, you know, sensitive about your own sexuality?
Yeah.
Because typically it's very rare that somebody is like super anti anything if they're not a little insecure about that.
Yeah.
So like I'm pretty secure in my,
and especially shit like, why are you so hateful about that? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty secure in my masculinity. I also am comfortable knowing that I am not even close to the toughest human being that I know. And I'm not even 47th in my circle, you know?
Yeah. It helps to know the people that we know.
I have a really tough circle.
Right. It's kind of, you know, talk about being humble, you know, like hanging out with the people that we know, that'll make you humble, you know?
That's
you can be humble, or you can probably get beat up on a lot.
That's exactly it. That's one thing in jiu-jitsu you really do learn, and that is like such a great lesson. One of probably the most important lesson that you learn is humility in jiu-jitsu, and it weeds out toxic masculinity. You can't be. We talked before in the beginning about this. That's toxic masculinity right there. So don't do it. This is not right. That's dumb. So if you can, and that shit gets weeded out. That can't, you know, you can't be that way and without fucking getting your fucking finger cut off. You gotta lose appendages. Yeah. Cool. Well, what else you got? You got anything else on your list you want to talk about before Chris gets here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, Chris will be here shortly, and we'll come right back, and we'll talk that guy up a little bit. All right.
All right.
See you in a minute. Welcome back to Spitballing, everybody. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy
Kyle Amundsen.
And today we have a special guest. Harambe is in the house. How you doing, Harambe?
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. You know, we're just back from paradise, as I say. God was willing to give me a second chance. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what was going on here.
You
That's kinda
you
been a
actually
while.
were dead for a while, right?
Yeah. So
And then Kyle was able to contact you with his gift.
Special Facebook Talk to the Dead powers.
Yeah, that's nice.
believe it or not, that's how it goes this day. Facebook can work magic if you know how to use it.
Yeah, well, even if anybody does, it's Kyle because the motherfucker is on there all the time.
I am prolific.
You know, that makes me wonder. So as we talk about this Facebook, I go to my, what would you call it, when somebody tags you or something, you know, you hit that little button and you can see all the people that like and dislike and whatever your stuff, okay? So I don't know what you did or how you became so amazing, but Facebook now tells me when you post shit. I'm like, oh, Kyle tagged me in something. No, Kyle tagged me in shit. He just posted something and just figured it'd let me know, I guess.
I think I've spent enough time on there where I'm kind of becoming one with Facebook.
Yeah.
You know,
You are
it's
Facebook, maybe.
there's like a science fiction movie. I was trying to think of like the science fiction movie. Actually, I think there've been a couple of them where the guy's kind of like in the computer. He's kind of melded with the system.
Tron.
Well, I guess that was
the original, right?
Yeah. Whereas like that was a video game. I am now an entity on social media, like up in social media.
Yeah,
So-
you're like a superstar in a way, I think. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if 50 likes makes me a superstar.
My question is
No, if
this.
I had if I looked good in a swimsuit, then I might achieve superstar status.
I think the real question is
Or Instagram.
when do we get to see you in that swimsuit is maybe the
You know, it's amazing that I've never showed up in a swimsuit because I mean I'm on there as a Hooters girl. Like multiple instances.
You do have amazing tits.
and the legs.
true.
I'm all about the legs. But the apron thing, that's like a reoccurring thing. I haven't done that in a while. Of course, I haven't cooked in a while. Maybe well, you know what? I'll go home. Christina is having like some coworkers over. I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna strip down, bare ass, just an apron, and I'm gonna cook something for them.
That is a great idea.
I think so too.
Yeah.
what time
Facebook
is dinner?
supplemental coming out.
Absolutely.
They're having. I don't know if you want to go because they're having primate.
Ooh.
Yeah. Kyle's been into that.
Maybe on a different day. Let me know how it tastes.
Bushmeat, as
Bushmeat,
they call
yeah.
it in Africa,
Yeah.
in the Congo region,
Yeah.
Yeah, not
which is a
going
real
back.
thing. People eat, gorillas and chimps and stuff like that, and these are our closest relatives.
Your facial expression was great, Harambe. You actually you showed surprise. It's
I
amazing.
was a little surprised that people want to eat me.
The
but,
fuck are you talking about?
What? You look delicious.
Yeah,
You look
well,
delicious.
I got something for him. A happy Sunday fun day. Let's you guys remember this? I feel like this might be like right
Man,
here,
I don't. I have no idea what you're talking
Ernie's back. That's like a 15-year-old Ernie's shirt.
Yeah, all day long.
about. You know, Harambe, that this is an actual
yes,
an
sorry.
instrument that I know you're primitive, but it's
Learning.
projects your voice to the masses.
Beautiful.
So without
beautiful.
it, they can't hear a fucking word you're saying.
I got you. I can learn this.
Yeah,
I just keep hitting it with
you
my
can learn.
beautiful face.
I've heard that your kind are starting to evolve. You're starting to use spears and shit now, so that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Haven't you seen that new movie I put out? You son of a bitch, called Planet of the Apes, huh?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
well, it's not too bad.
You guys
Not too
all
bad.
fuck with us for so long.
Push and push and.
I tell that story, but my best friend is Brock Larson, and like when I was growing up, my best friend was another really stud wrestler, tough fucking guy, and so I've always kind of like allied myself, with the toughest, meanest guys I could find, and I was watching Planet of the Apes, the first Planet of the Apes reboot, and there's that scene in there where Caesar is in the fucking animal shelter, and he's getting, take your hands up, you filthy ape, that whole thing, and he's getting his ass kicked by everybody, and what's he do? He goes out and he makes fucking friends with the
fucking
gorilla.
silverback, yeah.
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 And then, and I was like, I can relate to Caesar. Yep, that's what I do. You just gotta
That's what
find
I
yourself
do.
a big fucking gorilla and just make friends, and then you're all right, and you can do whatever the fuck you want.
That's why I made friends with this guy.
Yeah. Indeed.
I talked already about my humbling experience doing chest for the first time since my surgery today. Yeah, the gym was not kind, but actually it wasn't so bad. It was decent. I just had to kind of scale back some things when I was doing chest, but other than that, things were good.
I like it when you scale back. It makes me feel a little bit better about myself when I'm in there.
I do not like to.
I don't lift anything. Yeah. I don't lift anything unless I have to. So,
but Chris has abs, and that's all. Like people give a fuck about.
Bring this out.
Chris,
I got a little too hot in there.
Oh, gee. So are you
also back from the dead? Young Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
They
nice call me Honest Abe, I believe was the exact words that my aunt used to use.
So I was gonna ask you, what the fuck happened to the Republican Party? You guys were so cool back then.
You guys freed the slaves. What the shit?
Well, we did a lot of good. We've done a lot of shit too. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm blaming the Tea Party.
Yep. I blame the whites. That's all I can say. They fucking suck.
Yeah, it's definitely the whiteys.
Mm-hmm. Kill whitey, I believe there used to be a saying.
Yeah.
But I think if we all just put our differences aside and maybe just enjoyed one another for what we are, and then maybe there wouldn't be have all those problems, huh?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, right now. Who knows? I think I saw the best thing on Facebook today after Kyle's post jumped up at me like as if it was my own. It was now I don't know. Some people are gonna hate this, so I'm gonna love it. But it said,
"What about that?
if we got rid of guns, there would be no killing." I'm like, I'm pretty sure they didn't have guns when they were slicing your throat with swords and
was it the meme where the guy in armor is like driving that lance through the guy?
Yes, exactly. It probably was one of yours.
No, it wasn't. But I was gonna comment on there though, because when I saw that, because like I love guns, but when I saw that, I was gonna say like, hey, the next time a kid rides a war horse through a fucking school, like. With a goddamn lance, like I was gonna make some joke about that, but then I'm like, oh, we don't want to bring up school shootings.
Yeah, ooh, yeah,
which I just did.
Oh,
yeah, well, I'm glad you did that again. Yeah, I mean, like, do you remember that? Oh shit, I think that's my phone.
That's my call.
I'm gonna have to answer the phone if it comes up, but that doesn't look like what was that. I think it was you. So. What the fuck I was talking about? Oh, Starbelly Sneetches. So, Dr. Seuss, man. Dr. Seuss wrote a book, Starbelly Sneetches. And that's what it's all about. You remember the book? Oh, my God. Or wait, is that the book?
I feel like I have a lot of Dr. Seuss books, but I don't know.
Where's our Dr. Seuss fact checker? God damn it.
Damn it. Actually, now that I say that, I'm not sure if it is Starbelly Sneetches, but it's a book they wrote about, like, how... Yeah, I believe it is about how these two groups of people are trying to like outdo each other, and then they just continue to outdo each other, And by the end, it's like an analogy for the nuclear arms race and all of that. But it's like humans have been killing humans since humans.
Yeah.
So like I don't think that if we get rid of guns, we are going to get rid of violence.
Well, primates murder,
right?
Chimps murder.
Right.
For interesting reasons. They also throw poop. I'm not really sure.
So do humans.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes,
we do it now. We do it on this virtual site called Facebook.
Oh man,
yeah.
True.
There's a lot of shit thrown.
And not gonna lie, this morning I did throw an actual turd, but
All right. Well,
it was in self-defense
because you didn't have a bidet.
I didn't have a bidet
to clean your ass.
Yes.
Yeah, you weren't here for the beginning part. So, Chris.
Speaking
I don't know much about you, man.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go in.
You caught me with this bidet thing.
Oh,
okay.
So we used to we have a guy. I was gonna say a friend, but then I wanted to edit it. No, we love you, Dave.
A friend, a former guest.
Former guest, Dave Bideau, who's a city council person in Brainerd, and he was on I don't know, a month ago, and we had a lot of fun with him. But we were just making fun of his name because it's very close to bidet.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering.
And Kyle's wife today said,
yeah, Christine the other day, she's like, you need a bidet, or she goes, you need a bidet. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. But I think you mean a bidet.
Yeah.
or a bidet.
Priceless.
I like. We should just have him like there just to like squirt water on your butt. Yeah, out of his mouth. I think of it.
Now that we have that said, I'm going to tell you a story about one of those I got.
Oh, you have a bidet?
Well,
you have a bidet story?
I mean, yeah, I guess I do. I mean, that's the thing that, like shoots water on the butthole, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Don't want to make myself look like too much of an idiot. But, so anyways, I was invited one time when I was in Vegas, to a very upscale party, I guess you would say. Definitely, I shouldn't have been there, I guess you would say. But anyways, I went, and it was on like the top floor of, I think like the Red Canyon Casino or some just on the outskirts. Beautiful place. But anyways, it was like almost like the frickin' swingers suite or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not shitting you. When I went in, like, I had my own section, put it that way, with my own like living room. But I mean, it was insane. But so in the morning, I was all hungover, and I'm like, I'm gonna go take a shower. And I looked, and the shower's like 15 feet wide circle. And I mean, there's like multiple shower heads, and then, but the weird thing was it was like 4 feet high, right? So I'm like, what the hell? Like the walls around it, and that was it. There was nothing else. So essentially, I was like, oh, it's a bath too. So it was like a human swimming pool in the middle of this thing, right? So I'm like sitting in there all hungover, swimming around, la da 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 da. And I end up getting out because I got to go to the bathroom. And I go in there, and I go to, it's in the morning after a long night, you have to take shit, right? So I take my doo-doo, and I go to like flush it, or what I think is flush it. And it is definitely not. And this was like a double flusher, I'll just be honest with you, So you hit the flush button, and I was like, whoa! And like, it was the most.
So you shit in the bidet?
Well, dude, it was like a toilet that had a bidet in it that shot water like after you were done. Like, this thing was high tech for one.
I don't think that's the way it works, Chris.
What do you mean? No, I'm dead serious. They have a toilet, and
No.
So did it?
No, my friend, you shit in the bidet.
No,
the thing you shit in is the thing you were supposed. There's no way. There is no way that you are supposed to shit in the thing that sprays water on your ass.
That's why he called it I made a mistake. I think I fucked up your turd fountain.
No, I swear to God, because listen to this. I got it to flush. I'm not shitting you and all that, but this toilet was, it was out of the future. Like, you couldn't just lift. Like, I tried to lift the thing up, and it was locked. Like, you couldn't just lift up the seat to take a piss. Like, you had to push a button, and the thing comes up. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not kidding you. There's 6 different buttons. I thought I hit the right one. I didn't even know what whatever the hell we're talking, bidet, whoever you call it, whatever it is. But what I'm saying is, it definitely flushed it, and it definitely shot water at my ass. That's all I'm gonna say. I can tell you one thing. I'm not sure why anybody would want that. I mean, I didn't get a refreshing feeling. I got oh my God, that's not supposed to do that.
Well,
you really think I did the wrong thing, but
I do. But
I'm going to find this.
Let's say that you are correct.
Okay.
And this was
I hope
toilet / bidet. That's fucking disgusting. Because you should never have your ass washed by your out of the shithole.
Well, then explain to me this. There wasn't another toilet in there, so what?
You don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, I definitely feel like I looked around for something.
I guess how many
what
drugs
this reminds
did
me
you
of?
actually take that?
To be honest, it was only booze.
Was it Demolition Man where they were like, when he's like, what are the shells for? Like, they don't have toilet paper anymore. Like, they have shells, and he couldn't figure out, like, what do you use how do you use the shells? They never explained that part.
You guys were talking about Demolition Man on one of the other episodes. I seen Demolition Man, but I don't really have anything, no real memory of it. So I don't know. Yeah, but typically, and I have never used a bidet. Though Dave Bideau has wet mask a couple times. Totally, that was a medical thing.
Well, that's how we got him on board with the water tower thing.
Then that's totally okay then.
But typically, you have a toilet, and then you get off the toilet, and you actually
there's
wipe
like a whole
your ass.
Separate
you
thing.
Wipe your ass and you flush.
Yeah.
Then you come over and sit on the bidet, and it sprays warm water on your ass to like freshen you up, and then you wipe that off.
I don't know if I'm
And
ever
then
going to
you
be that rich.
Nobody is.
Yeah.
Nobody's actually that rich.
I mean,
Yeah, it's not very functional. Use some, get those flushable wipes.
yeah. Or just wipe your butt the right way, and like we've been doing for years, and you'll be all right.
Right.
Well, it's not always that easy to wipe your butt.
Well, if you're that worried about it, I mean, I got a hairy. I mean, look at me. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say this outfit is barely hairier than your body.
Yeah. So this is almost a true resemblance. But I've never had an issue. I guess I don't know. I've never.
Well, I mean, you can also probably put the tag in on your shirt if it's out.
I'm not very flexible. So
Kyle's
butt
right.
wiping
We were talking. He's got to limber up before he goes in.
Yeah. I've got all kinds of contortions and stuff like that.
It's understandable.
And a lot of those little flushable wipes and stuff too. Well, not a lot of them. Just one to make sure I'm good.
Aren't they cold though?
That probably feels like that's probably TMI.
Is there such a thing on the show?
Is there too much information, or is it just the right amount of information?
I think it's more or less the person. Like most people are like, oh my God, that's too much. It's too much, Kyle, please.
Right. That means it's too much for you.
Yes, exactly. And realistically, I don't think that there really is too much. It's how much can you handle?
So I'm going to tell this story. So back in the day, I used to like to make my own salsa, right? And it's quite a long time ago. I still like to make salsa, but we used to make it all the time. This is back when I was married to Jess. Peyton was pretty young. And it was pretty easy recipe and whatever. But at the end, I'd always take one habanero and I'd cut it up, chop it up real fine, put it in the whole batch, make a big batch of salsa. And I was very religious about wearing gloves when I did it because habanero oil is very, you get that shit in your eyes. It's
You're done.
You're done. But this day, for whatever reason, I didn't wear gloves. And I was like, shit, I didn't wear gloves. But I washed my hands like super duper good afterward and everything. And it was okay. So some time passes, like a few hours, right? And I have to take a shit. So I go upstairs, take a shit. And I'm on the toilet and get toilet paper. And apparently, I don't know, maybe, and it was probably not the first pass. It was probably the final pass, But I must have not had my fingertip, must have not been covered by the toilet paper or something like that.
Or you're using cheap toilet paper and that fucking finger went through there. And,
could have been that.
Those
bullshit.
are the worst.
Horrible.
But I was pretty sure that a weasel had come up through the toilet
and gnawed upon your
bit
butthole.
my asshole. I had no idea what it was from, but it was like
Lemmy winks.
it literally felt like somebody grabbed my butthole with a pliers.
Oh.
I mean, it was like, I was like, and I jumped up and I was screaming, and I jumped onto the sink in the bathroom, and I'm like,
which doesn't sound as fun as it looks on the internet.
I'm like trying to wash whatever is biting my asshole off, and I'm screaming and screaming and screaming, and Jess runs upstairs, and throws open the bathroom door, and there I am on the sink, and she's like, what's going on? I'm like,
shuffling water.
I was like, something bit my asshole. Something bit my
You'll
asshole.
have to suck the poison out.
So you have to suck the poison out.
Yeah. Not the best day of my life.
No, that would be horrible. That would be horrible. I have made that mistake once before, actually. Only it wasn't my butthole. It was I chopped jalapenos, and I use fresh jalapenos when I cook, and didn't wash my hands. Went to go to the bathroom, grab old Johnson while I was in there to do my thing, and it took a minute. It wasn't right away. So all of a sudden I'm washing my hands, and I go back to work, and about a minute later, I'm like, well, what the hell is going on down here?
I haven't been to Tijuana in weeks.
Yeah, I was like, God, this isn't. I mean, how long is the delay? But yeah, so it kind of freaked me out at first because I was like, oh my God, what's going on? I've never had, and what do you think? You've never had my Peter burn, So I literally sat there. I was like, what the heck? What do I do? What do I do? And it was funny because this lady that works with me, she's a saint. She's funny. Same name, same birthday, just a lady. And the messed up part is she thinks just like me, kind of. So I'm like, God, you are me as a woman. dirty mind, funnier than hell, it's a good time. But she looked right at me, she started laughing. She's like, you said your pants are on fire over there? And I was like, yeah. I was like, what the hell? And she's like, you forget you cut up like 25 jalapenos for chili like 5 minutes ago? Oh my God. But here's the kicker. How do you get it to stop? Like,
yeah, like
you don't.
There was no
It just
way.
is miserable.
Ride it out.
Like, ride it out.
Like it's a funny story about getting habanero, oil on my asshole. But like, I had like a burn.
Yeah.
On my
Your
like
bum
a
bum.
rash that like came all the way up my back and everything. I
dang.
mean, it was bad.
Okay, I didn't get that bad.
Well,
the
the difference in whatever the
inners and outers, right?
What's the there's that.
Innies and
but
outies.
also what's the scale? Scoville scale?
Oh
or
yeah, as
whatever?
far as hotness,
the
dude,
amount of
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah,
the difference in that.
I mean, thankfully, I didn't touch my dick.
Yeah, mine was like
that.
3 hours of just like, ooh, you know,
it was bad.
Get the baby powder.
So feel free to participate in the spitballing scorched butthole challenge.
Yeah.
And send us your videos of
Send
your
us
scorched
your
butthole. And,
Even just an audio recording would be fine.
Yeah.
For you podcast listeners.
Depends totally on the butthole.
So, Chris, I don't really know you. Though now I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
Right, you've exchanged. You've just exchanged some pretty fucking personal stuff.
But I just like know basically your presence on Facebook. But when I was kind of looking through, one thing you're a pretty avid hunter. Is that right?
Yeah, I like to hunt. Yeah,
I
do.
Yeah, and that's kind of because neither Kyle and I like hunt anything.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't hunted in a couple of years. I grew up. It's like a religion in my family. It's very important.
Yep.
And and to this day, I'm still, really, I've got some really strict ideas about like drinking and hunting and stuff like that. A lot of shit.
Like you have to drink and hunt?
Yeah, I mean,
No, like
I'm just kidding.
Like they don't.
Of course not.
They don't mix.
of course they
but a lot
mix,
of people
Kyle.
mix
What
them
kind of Republican are you?
But I like we were talking about this morning actually.
Oh yeah.
I fucking like the older I get, I don't look like I used to look forward to it. I used to fucking I couldn't wait for like rifle season.
Really?
Yeah.
And now I'm like the closer it gets anymore, I'm like, I gotta make a decision. And I'll check the weather and stuff, and I'm like, fuck, like it just. And now I'm just like probably I don't know if I'll ever fucking hunt again.
So you used to though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, as
Yeah.
a kid, I think where you grew up and like where I grew up, I mean, it wasn't even like a question. It was like you did it. Like your grandparents and your parents were like, "Here's your gun, get your tag, we're going, we're feeding." I mean, that's how ours was.
Feeding family.
Yeah,
for sure,
like get your ass.
And
up.
and my brother's 9 years older than me, and he spent a lot of time, like when we were kids, like a lot of, and because of the stuff that my brother's into, like stories about mountain men and shit like that, and a lot of like wilderness craft stuff, like a lot of just a lot of outdoor stuff. So I grew up with a lot of that shit, and I have my brother to thank for my hunting skills, and and we shoot a lot in my family.
Yeah.
So all that stuff didn't like, and I still want to shoot. I just don't want to sit out there and freeze my ass off.
That's the thing I can't stand about deer hunting. Like I find it ridiculous. Like I have really bad ADD anyway. So to sit and be inactive doing anything is really tough for me.
And if anyone else in my house ate fucking venison, it would be a different game or a different ball game.
Yeah.
But like Christine won't touch it, Logan won't touch it. Gordy.
I love venison, but
I do. Yeah.
I just don't. I just don't like to sit. Now, but I love to fish. Like I love to fish. But to me, that totally is a totally different thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing something. And every cast is another like, this is the one. This is the chance. Especially, I love to bass fish. That's my favorite. Yeah.
See, that's one thing. Fishing looks great, but I haven't been fishing since I was, I want to say 7 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so last summer, I hardly fished. I went twice, I think, which is really uncommon for me. Usually me and Peyton and Logan, we all have kayaks and we'll go fishing 2-3 times a week, during the summer, like pretty often. And then like on a weekend we'll go, it'll be an all day occurrence, and I love it. But I just this last summer was just super ridiculously busy, and I just didn't get out as much as I wanted to. But why the fuck are we talking about us? But you, Chris, you like to hunt.
Oh yeah, I like it all.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of posts on your Facebook about different people getting deer and all that stuff. And
yeah.
Do you rifle hunt? Do you bow hunt?
So I'm newer to the bow hunting. Just a couple of years ago I got into it. This year is probably the most.
Did it cost a fucking fortune to get into?
Because
that's one thing. Like, I love the season, looks amazing, and it seems like more challenging and stuff, and I really like the idea, but man, I've looked into it, and fuck, is it expensive to get started.
I got a wonderful bow you can use if you want.
It is. Oh, okay.
Is it a crossbow?
Not you. Oh, No, you can't use a crossbow. It's illegal.
Well, just knowing like the stuff that you're into, I was expecting it to be some like longbow made of yew or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Or...
I think I have 9 bows.
Oh damn!
So you're a bow hunter? Or?
No, I never bow hunted. Never once.
You just buy them because you like them?
I love to shoot. I love to
practice.
Target
okay,
shoot.
Cool. Yeah.
And I mean, I like to buy weird shit.
I get it. I have a lot of it too.
But I have Brock gave me when he was sponsored by Bowtech when he was fighting. He gave me a bow because they would give him a bow each fight, and he gave me one, and it's like top of the line.
Oh
Thing's
yeah,
beautiful.
I used to have one. But
the Executor, that's the one that I have. Which is
See me, I don't know shit really about names and stuff, and I'm like, I need the little part that goes in the back of the arrow, and they're like, oh, the knock. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's why you're here, and I'm just here to shoot shit. No, so I honestly, my first bow, I went to the pawn shop and just bought the cheapest thing that looked halfway decent, and to be honest, it was a Bowtech.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
crazy that you got a cheap one because they're pretty fucking expensive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for a bow cheap. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was still $350. Yeah. But yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think this one that I have was $1,800.
Oh yeah, they have really nice.
Really
yeah,
expensive.
this was.
I mean, it's them and Matthews are kind of the two like big bow names.
And I just bought. So yeah, I got more into it this year, and being with that, I have a friend. I'm sure you guys know the Biomarts. Being they're my friends. I wanted to support. Obviously local.
The who?
The Biomarts. So they have the Biomart Outdoors over.
South of town.
Yeah,
that place.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to go there.
It's actually. I've heard it's great. I've driven by it many a times. From even when I was really little, and from when my parents would cycle me back and forth or whatever. And it was always like I never knew what it was. You know what I mean? And then finally I swung in there, and it's a really great place. And he actually lined me up with a beautiful bull for a great price. And that's the only reason why I ended up getting a Matthews, because I was like, I'm not going to buy one of these $1,800 things. It's not feasible for me.
Right.
So, but yeah, so they, ended up taking care of me. So it's like, all right, let's give it a shot, and then this year, I'm going to tell you this. I've been sitting out there. I've seen some crazy big deer that I've had some experiences that I don't even know how to describe, being that close to such a significant animal, in my opinion. And even there's lots of them. I've passed up on a lot of 6-8 pointers,
bow hunting this year.
Yeah. And I had the monster come in, and it was the craziest experience I've ever had in the woods. But I didn't shoot him. And the reason was that, I had a shot that I probably could have taken him, and it probably would have killed him.
Right.
But I wasn't 100% sure.
Well, that very good for you.
Responsible. But it was hard, you know what I mean? Because I'm sitting here with this thing at 24 yards out that literally people are going to say, holy, that's insane. Where did you find this?
Right.
And it's funny because 99% of the people that I've talked to are like, I would have taken the shot, man. You're never going to see that thing again. La, da, da, da. And as I hear them say this, I'm like, dude, I've seen this deer for the past 3 years. Right. Okay. Now I will give him this.
It might just be my spirit animal.
Seriously, I
did take some mushrooms before I went out to the stand.
Hey, whatever brings me.
I thought that actually might help doing a little microdosing because you could be in a different So, but anyway, go
That's
ahead.
when you end up missing the deer and shooting the person. You're like, shit, I thought it was a deer.
But in my defense, I was tripping balls.
Yeah.
So
It's okay.
They're like, well, okay, we can understand that you shot him, but if you hadn't have field dressed him, he still might have made it.
dude, if I accidentally shoot somebody hunting, I'm definitely
Right. We're
gonna
trying
field dress
people
them.
that
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're having some long.
Yeah.
So you didn't. So you didn't take the shot.
No, I didn't. It was with it was like I said, with a bow, obviously. He was about 24 yards out, and like a front shoulder kind of turn in. And if you would have taken a step either way, it was really funny. I watched him come in. He must have been hot on a young lady or something, because his nose is on the ground, come all the way in. And then I don't know if I farted or what the hell happened, but he looked right at me. And as soon as it was like our first date, as soon as our eyes met, boom, he was gone.
That's what happens on most of your first dates.
Yeah, just, it happens.
They walk in, they're like,
Fuck that. Look at
here.
that Sam Squanch looking guy.
So I think that we were talking a little bit before you came, Chris, but I think that's a good example of the difference between masculinity and toxic masculinity.
Or that whole that
manliness
macho
and-
attitude, like, well, I wouldn't have been afraid to fucking wound that thing and let it fucking
Bleed
go
out.
die off someplace.
Because if you would have
Okay.
taken the shot, you most likely would have killed that deer. It's very rare that a deer gets shot by a bow and doesn't die, but the likelihood of you getting that deer
Right.
was not that great, and then you were going to end up basically making an animal suffer and not
so
even
here-
being able to.
The only reason probably why I didn't, and this is, to be 100% honest with you, because I was ready to let go of that thing the second I had a okay shot on it, just 'cause I was like, fuck, if I get anything, I'm letting it go. But the deer that I had the year before come in, just a little 8-pointer and whatever, I was excited to get my first, buck with a bow. And I thought it was like a perfect shot. I had to bend down a little bit on the knees, but I 2 inches of bend down, I didn't think that would really affect my
Right.
shot, So I thought it was a perfect shot. Lots of blood. And it really sucks because I know this thing died. Lots of blood, and tracking it started to rain. Okay. Now I had tracked it correction, I shot this at nighttime. Okay. And I had let it go, because I didn't want to, kick it up and chase it around if it wasn't a good shot. So I was going to let him go bed up and bleed out and die, so to speak. Sorry if you guys don't like that, my Democrat friends.
We are gun-toting liberals.
I'm just giving you shit. Only because, I'm supposedly a Republican. But anyway, so we go out and we're looking in the morning, right? And I'm like, okay, we got up early because I was like, gosh, there's like a snow mist coming in, you know what I mean? I want to go find this thing. So we go, and I don't know, it really didn't go that far, maybe 100 yards or so, and bedded up. But something, I don't know if it was the wolves, the coyotes, or what, got on him, because from when he got up off his bed, it wasn't like a walk away. You could tell, if you've tracked deer, you're any animal, you understand it and you learn how to track, right? So the blood spots were very far in between. So that tells me that
booking.
Yeah, something scared the shit out of him and he ran. This thing was a beast, man. I give him credit. He swam across a pond. We tracked this thing about 400 yards, got to a pond, and everybody that I was with gave up because we couldn't find no blood. Well, I ended up actually calling in one of my employees to cover my shift for part of the day, because I don't believe in letting the animal go and suffer, and whatever. So I went and had just a weird tickle, gut or whatever you want to call it. I was like, go walk around this pond. So I go over to the other side of the pond, and boom, big blood again. I'm getting all excited, right? So I call my buddy, and he's like, oh, hell yeah. He's excited. He comes out, meets me again. We start looking. We're finding blood all over, and we're like, dude, we're going to find this thing. This is getting better and better. The spots are, and all of a sudden just starts pouring. Pouring. Right? And the blood just started slowly disappearing, and to the point where obviously there was no blood. And we didn't find the deer. We looked for about an hour, 75-yard radius, fanned out, nothing. So from that point, I said, I'm never going to shoot again unless I know it's 100% kill. So like even when I had that thing, I was like, God, it's 90%. I gotta get this thing closer.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it sounds good. You're sexier when you're closer.
Yeah, baby, you like that? No, this is DJ Dirty D. Okay. But anyway, so as this thing comes in, and I was like 90% sure, but I was like, God, if I do hit it and it runs, I mean, this is a big deer. So realistically, the deer that I shot before wasn't even close to as big as this thing, right? So like you shoot me with a 9mm in the shoulder, I'm screwed, right? You shoot him with a 9mm in the shoulder, he could probably still punch you still.
Shooting.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It probably won't affect him. So that was my mindset on this.
He could take a 9mm.
Yeah, like I'm gonna shit. Yeah. So I'm gonna hit this big ass deer, and it's gonna just like barely phase him because it's if it's not a 100% shot. Right. So I let him go, and I'm hoping to God that nobody shot him this weekend or next weekend in the
So do you only bow hunt, or do you then rifle hunt as well?
No, I if through all this long hair there's still a redneck back there. And I still rifle hunt. I do enjoy it. I will say bow hunting is much more extreme and harder.
For sure. Way harder.
Yeah, it's
weather's nicer.
Yes, definitely.
Which is good, but you have to be so much closer.
Oh
to the
my
animal.
God,
there's no scope.
Well, and here's the kicker too. So I'm not out. I don't like a lot of people go like, oh, go in stands. Da, 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 da. No, dude, I'm like straight up like Tonto a little bit, and I hide behind bushes. You know what I mean? Like I'll be in.
So when you saw this big buck, were you on the ground?
Damn right I
really?
was. Yeah, that's
cool.
That's why it was like the most exhilarating hunt I've ever had, because I was essentially 20 yards from this thing that could just fuck me up.
So that's part of the reason why I don't like deer hunting, is because I can't stand sitting in the stands.
Yeah,
that just gets so bored.
You've got to start off with like the magic number is supposed to be like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
but you got to chill. Basically you got to get out there and just relax for an hour before anything's even gonna come your way.
I've always done. You better be in that stand. Like for me,
unless something's following you, because deer don't always play by the rules. I fucking killed a deer. Like I've killed deer like that. I've been in my stand for 10 minutes and fucking killed a deer. You know?
Oh yeah.
But like,
yeah, I've had that happen before too. No, I mean, deer, it's a very interesting thing, because a lot of deer that I've shot, and believe it or not, was like walking out of my stand. Like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm leaving, get out of the stand or whatever. And all of a sudden, like, for instance, 2 years ago, I about shit myself, but I was walking out of the stand, and all
no
of a sudden,
bidet in the woods.
No bidet or bidet, whatever the hell. And literally, like, there was no noise, no nothing, because I walked pretty quiet. And like all of a sudden, this thing just like jumped out and was literally like 10 feet in front of me, right? And like, nice little 6-pointer just looked right at me like, what the fuck are you? And I was just like, and just dropped him right there.
Oh, with the bow?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Like, that was my first, bow hunt. So I was like, well, fuck. Like, that's easy. You know what I mean? Like that's essentially what I thought.
Right.
And the next time I had a nice 8-pointer come in, and was essentially that one that I went and searched for day. Yeah, so I'm like, that was. And
no, I think that's the way it should be. That you shouldn't take a shot unless you know.
Yeah.
So do you train much with the bow?
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not an all year round excessive like bow trainer.
Right.
I maybe fling a few arrows in the winter months after the season just to stay alive, I guess.
Right.
But once like August, I would say once August hits, I get a little more into it. And I hate going out there with the bugs. I'm not going to be slapping my face. So I like it for it to get just a little bit like those first freezes.
Yeah.
So, September, end of September, maybe early October is when I like to start going.
Yeah.
Because I think it opens like in beginning or middle of September. I'm not even really sure. But yeah, I wait until it gets a little cold because I don't know. It's just a preference.
Right. No. But you do a lot of target shooting.
Oh yeah. In August, I mean, I like to do 40, 50 arrows a day.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's super important. People don't realize that like it takes a lot of repetition. I mean, like I said, I'm into like shooting bows. I don't train that much at like Kyle. I don't train that much with the bow, but I've always been a good shot. I enjoy target shooting.
But when nunchuck season comes around, he's ready.
But
I'm a
you
fellow
gotta put
nunchucker.
a lot of arrows down a range before you like are confident and really capable or really like responsible enough to go out there. People think they can just do it. It's not shooting a rifle.
No.
I mean, you can literally learn how to shoot a rifle in about 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, with the scope on. I mean,
and then here's the principles. This is what you do, and you pull this lever. You're good to go. And I don't even think that's responsible. I think you should train. I think you should train any weapon that you're going to use. Oh yeah,
for sure.
But with bow, it's definitely important.
You're gonna wound a lot of deer if you don't.
Right, and that's irresponsible. Yeah, it's awesome. So I have kind of a funny hunting story. We're coming up on Thanksgiving, and I haven't hunted for years. The only time I ever hunted was when I was married. The 2 times I was married, I hunted with my wife's families, basically, and I hated it. I mean, I did it because it was an obligation, and I was just like, I'd go out in the stand and I would sleep, I'd read, but then I found books on tape. I'd be out there listening to books on tape.
What do you mean listening? You can't like that's like the best thing for hunting is your ears.
I could give 2 shits. I was trying to survive the time.
He's like, I just passing the time.
I would literally, I'd be on with my fucking headphones on and like be listening, and then they would. We'll take a break in a second. Then you can get naked.
Big boy, yeah.
Then and there'd be like a fucking like I'd be like listening. I'd be like, oh, there's a deer. Like I really didn't care. So like I would watch deer walk by, and
they walk by. Did you see anything? No, not a fucking thing.
Oh yeah. But anyway, I was a kid. I was like 9 years old, and we grew up on a farm down southern Minnesota. And I used to hunt all the time. Loved hunting. And it was right before Thanksgiving one time, and I was out in the woods. And this is right after I was able to use the 22 by myself. I finally got to be able to take 22 out by myself. And I'm walking along, and all of a sudden, it was just like this magical thing. There's a little bit of snow coming in, and there was this humongous fucking male turkey sitting there on a log, just preening itself, and the sun's coming in or whatever. And I shot that fucker right through the head, and I was like, yes, and I fucking drug it back. It was big.
Oh yeah,
it was really big.
Big old Tom.
Like really big, like the neighbor's prize turkey. Big.
Was it the neighbor's prize? Oh my god! Oh
my god! I drug it in, and my mom goes, What are you doing?" And I was like, I got a turkey for Thanksgiving. She goes, "Jesus Christ, get in here!" It's fucking get. And I was like, "What?" I was like all excited and happy, and she's like, "That's Henry's prize turkey," and that thing was butchered and feathered and in the oven in very, very short order.
And then Richard comes over and he's like, "Where's my turkey?"
I don't think he ever found his name was Henry, not Richard. But yeah, but no, I think he would have killed me. He was like a 99-year-old, really mean old farmer dude who loved his fucking turkey.
Loved his turkey.
There's a gentleman.
And his turkey was delicious.
I bet it was.
Because it was not wild.
It ain't good. Because probably at the scraps.
Wild turkey's a little hard. I mean, you can. I've had it good.
Not butterball.
I've had it
not
good,
butterball.
But it's a little tougher to prepare a wild turkey. But no, this fucking thing was totally just corn fed.
Oh yeah, I bet it was.
And I think I was on his land too. So the statute of nine. The statute of limitations over for sure. And if he's still alive. That motherfucker's got some longevity.
Yeah. Well, if he is, he's coming for it because he's watching this.
Yeah, I'm sure he is because he's all on the internet. Cool. Well, let's take a quick break and then, we'll come back. And then you got another story you were talking. So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Take a break. Welcome back to Spitballin'. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy,
Kyle Amundsen.
And we have Chris Dummy? What is it again? Dumire? How do I say it?
I like Dummy better.
Dunmire. Dunmire?
Yep,
is that it?
Dunmire.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I didn't mean dummy. That seemed mean.
Well,
Meanish.
I'm really fucking hurt now, so.
Yeah. Take it very personally. So, what you have something to do with the Y?
Yeah, actually, I just am in the process. Actually, December 1st it closes. To purchase the Y Club, yes.
Oh, so you're gonna be the Y Club?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. Because I saw on your Facebook there was a bunch of posts about different specials and all that stuff going on. But you you're gonna lose all your money. Well, that'll be cool.
Yeah, to a certain sense, I have done a lot of restaurant history. Grew up in it, obviously. My father and mother, everybody in between.
He's kind of specialized in taking restaurants that are kind of struggling and making them more profitable.
Wow.
Yeah, you've done a few of them now.
Yeah, I'm on this. This would be the third one. I mean, I guess I did help out start off another restaurant when I was younger. That one was really the funnest because I was like super young and these guys were pilots and they had no idea what a restaurant was. And
was that in Alexandria?
Yes, that was in Alec. But yeah, so that, I don't even, that's whatever. That was a long time ago. But the ones that I recently take a claim to would be the Village Inn that was in Outing, Minnesota. That was my first baby, as I call it. Yep. Huh. And had that one running for about maybe just over 4 years or something like that, maybe 4.5. And then through the ways of the world, I guess, it ended up that I ended up over at Hassie's.
Okay.
Through a series of events. Just ended up, we were partners, split ways.
And that was the Hassie's, the most recent version of Hassie's?
Yes, the most recent. Yep, the last, 2.5 years, I'd say.
Yeah, okay. Because when I was a kid, I grew up with Tim Hassie, who was an actual Hassie.
Yeah.
We used to go there and steal booze all the time when I was like 14, 15.
America.
Yeah. America. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that was a fun, really fun time too. Getting to meet. I like getting to meet people and any way you can lend a helping hand and it's fun. It's. I mean, you did it. I mean, you know how bad it sucks too, though. So.
Yeah, I mostly know the opposite side of that.
I mean,
so like you take like these restaurants that are kind of failing and try to make them. I like to take a restaurant and then like make it fail.
Well, no, I mean,
as a part of just like the podcast.
See, I remember when you had
Stay Poor Slow scheme.
Yeah.
And I always went in there and had a blast.
No.
So.
I make a lot of fun of it, but there are issues when you with the Shine, especially. It was mostly just we were undercapitalized.
Yeah,
and then we made a couple of big mistakes.
That's huge, dude. The undercapitalization is huge.
Yeah, and we didn't pay some taxes.
Well,
whoopsie daisy.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was actually it was actually like a bona fide mistake. Like we didn't realize that.
Oh shit!
Pay payroll tax because we're stupid.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey.
And I mean, we only didn't pay payroll tax for the first 9 months we were open, which was a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's ridiculous.
I was like, holy shit.
It's almost insane.
It's a long story, but
it's
anyway,
almost insane.
Anyway. We're not talking about me. So you got Hassie's up and going,
yep.
and then
just finished. Again, it's just weird the way the world works, but through a series of events, again, it ended up that I, sold out of that one, and my father had gotten sick, so I jumped on board to kind of help him take over his, I guess, completely, since he can't work as much as he would like. So
right.
But yeah, so then now I decided, okay, I've taken, these last couple of restaurants and, done, as I would say, decent with them, I would think. And why am I doing all this work for someone else? Like if I'm going to make these things work essentially and put in these 110-hour weeks, I might as well just put all my assets into it, and just give it all. So, now the scary part about it now, is it's not, if it doesn't work, it's not on someone else's shit. It's on me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if it doesn't work, you're
fucked.
You're fucked. Yeah.
So
sweet. Well, hey, the thing about it, you just got to think about it like poker, playing poker. Like if you just push all your chips to the middle, that fucking move works every time.
Yeah.
Until it doesn't. But it every time it works. Yeah. Right up until it doesn't.
It doesn't.
So just push them all in. You'll be fine.
So yeah, essentially though, I think I see the potential, I guess, of the place.
Well, the Y Club is an interesting place. I haven't been up there in a really long time, but it's got like a good local, it's clientele that's just right there.
Yeah, it's
That's not me dinging.
That's not me
It's
neither.
fucking me
Fucking
over
Kyle.
and over and over again.
Damn you,
Kyle's
Kyle.
getting blown up.
It's like I'm fucking single again.
Well, it's just like I'm single. I knew you when you were single, and I don't ever remember your phone going off.
Yeah, that was-
I know him too. I know him too. Yeah.
No, your mama's like, get your ass over here for game night, boy.
When are you gonna marry a nice girl?
Yeah, when you,
Finally, she's.
but no, yeah, it's Garrison is a great little community, man. It's really nice because people really jump together in times of need. So I like that about the smaller communities. Not to say that the bigger ones don't have that, but I guess for me, I just looked at it as if the fishing comes back to that lake.
Yep. Which is a big if.
Yes. Well,
especially if but I mean
they're
it's
there.
gonna be- right. That's a tough one though, because like it is such a good walleye lake,
right? Yeah,
but the walleye populations aren't, and I that's a huge
right, yeah,
like,
and that's a whole nother debate.
But but also like the scope of the lake apparently is changing, and now it's starting to become like a muskie destination.
Yep.
So like fishing isn't going away; it's just might end up changing. It might not be such a walleye.
Correct.
lake.
I think though the big like to give you an example here, I was looking at numbers and stuff from the past and stuff like that, and the amount when the fishing was good on that lake.
One moment, please.
Was insane. Should we stop?
Go ahead.
Okay. When they could keep 4 or 5 fish, the amount of people in that area, I would say quadruples to what it is right now. Okay. So, and right now you can't keep any fish. So let's say, I'm just throwing it out there, 4 years from now. Because it sounds like they're going to open the slot a little bit this year. So
I heard you can take one.
Right. Yeah. I didn't do my research on it all the way yet.
What happened to all the walleyes, guys?
Yeah.
Actually, nothing happened to them. If you want to be. Yeah. What do you got? Come on, let her out.
So, well, maybe we can give a little bit of background
stuff
to this, because maybe some people don't know. I mean, not everybody who watches this is local, but Mille Lacs Lake is a giant lake.
Huge lake.
It's the biggest freshwater lake in Minnesota, not including the Great Lakes. I think correct.
I think you're right on that.
Yeah, and it's a giant lake that has always had a really large walleye population. The bottom of the lake is rocky, and so it has a really good breeding area for walleye, so on and so forth. But in the last maybe decade, the DNR has been restricting how many walleye can be taken, and there's a large debate. And I don't have a dog in the fight, but the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe net walleye in the spring there, and that's a thing. Hold on.
Yeah, they do.
That's you. That's not even me.
It's not me. Must be him.
I've never heard that noise in my damn life. So
Whatever.
What's going on?
Fine. We're good. Good to go.
That
This is
must
a
be
horrible
Ladies and gentlemen,
podcast.
we're under attack by aliens.
that must be him.
Their voices sound like our fucking ringtones.
Yes.
I'm on call at my day job, and I needed to make sure I had the phone, so I was worried about not being able to get them. But it's all worked out.
It's here now.
So, say that again. We were talking about the lake.
Yeah, the lake and the walleye, and I don't think honestly that the netting has a lot to do with it, because they net anyway, and I don't know if you know, but they still fish and pull walleye out of there like crazy. So, even with the netting, I know there's issues on both sides, and that's a very, very interesting and touchy subject, especially in the small town that I'm in.
Right. It does seem like it definitely is a subject that divides.
Yes. It's really a shame. It's really a shame the way they separate it. You know what I mean? But that's, like I said, that's a really touchy subject for the small town that I'm in.
Right. So you're thinking that if the fishing is able to come back, not necessarily the fish, maybe the fish are already there, but if the fishing can come back
exactly
in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to be golden.
Yeah, if the fishing comes back in the next 3 to 5 years, I mean, I'll have to double my staff. I'll put it that way.
Right. But even if it doesn't, Garrison still has a strong community, and it's not just from fishing. Like it's a large. I mean, that lake. There's a lot of shit going on in that lake.
Oh yeah. We do a ton of stuff out there. You know, with the fishing for ducks and stuff like that, and you know, there's the baseball or the softball on ice. They do a ton of stuff. The Garrison community is a really great community. I mean, for the amount of stuff that. For being such a small community that they put on and put out there, and it really brings people from everywhere. I mean, like the Ducks Unlimited thing is insane, the amount of people that come into that. But even just when they don't have the fishing for ducks, they do, you know, the banquets and stuff like that, and it's amazing. I mean, people come from out of state for this,
right? And you're on the way to the casino, That's about the only reason why my friends come see me, like, to be 100% honest with you. Like, they're like, dude, you're like an hour away. I mean, to come eat is, you know, and it's really not an hour. They're just exaggerating. I mean, it's 20 minutes. Yeah, it's really not that far.
But,
it's weird, though, because, like, in the cities, if you lived in the cities,
if we're going to
having to go 20 minutes to go out to eat, nothing.
Not even a blink.
Wouldn't even think about it. But for us, man, for me to go to Baxter's a bitch. And that's like a 7-minute drive, you know? And I'm like, oh, man, no, I'm just going to stay at YG's, you know, which I love YG's. I'm no criticism of them, but I'm just saying I'm really lazy. Kyle's like, screw you guys. Even just going to Little Falls is a pain in the ass.
It is.
And that's which is about the same distance.
I mean, it is.
But I was scoping some of the shit that you got going on out there. And, I mean, I love me some prime rib.
Well, the food is...
And man. B, what's this thing with 3 fucking pounds of wings and a pitcher of beer?
Yeah.
What? Dude, for like $15-$16?
Yeah, $15.95.
And somebody posted, I was reading the comments and somebody was like, what if I don't drink? It's 3 fucking pounds of wings. The pitcher of beer is nothing. It's the fucking 3 pounds of wings for $15. Fucking bring it on. Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Why didn't you bring us any? Really my question.
You know, the funny part was like literally I was like, I'm gonna bring these guys some snacks, right? So and I was like thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this, that, and the other. And today was my day with the baby, which she was a little sick, a little under the weather. Actually, a lot under the weather. I've never seen a baby puke, but that was it was really sad. It was really sad, but. Like straight up projectile. I was like,
sure glad you brought those germs.
Well, you know, I mean,
sharing.
If you know, I'm assuming your body is probably capable enough to handle whatever that was.
I would assume. I've been through everything.
She seems to be all right. They gave her some Tylenol at the hospital and sent her on her way.
Sent her on her way. See ya, baby.
See ya, baby. Yeah, you know, I don't know, but that's like, you know, that's the whole hospital thing, and what I mean, like my whole thing was, what are they going to do to the baby anyway? You know, like it's you can't do anything to that poor baby.
I mean, I'm sure they check and make sure that she isn't dehydrated.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure she didn't have the flu because it's that kind of season is what the doctor said.
So, completely right turn, but
sorry.
Like flu shot, man. Did you get your flu shot yet?
Yeah. No. I was at the doctor getting some blood work done and stuff. I was actually doing my the pre-op like physical for before I got that hand surgery, and I've never had one before. So
you never had a flu shot before?
No.
And
I'm like, nah, I'm good. And then I was like, wait a minute. I told him I've got my, you know, I watch my grandson, you know, like 3 days a week and stuff. And he's like, well, then you need one. And I'm like, well, then give it to me. You know?
Right. So this is a bone that I like to pick. Like a lot of people don't get the flu shot, and first of all, shame on you.
I never have gotten the flu shot.
So why?
Okay, so here's why. Why would I inject myself with the flu?
Because it will build your immunity to the flu.
No, isn't that how you fucking get sick? Is when you get the flu? Like, no.
So
I mean, maybe I'm not a doctor. I guess I don't know all the.
I obviously am a doctor.
Oh, well, all right. Dr. M.
The way
fucking Taylor.
A flu shot works is yes, there is dead flu virus in there, but it gives your body, gives your body.
What do you mean a
chance.
dead flu
It's
virus?
dead. It can't actually get you sick.
It's not active.
Oh,
It's a non-active. It's a dead one.
Okay.
So what? Okay.
I call
Here's
bullshit.
how it works. Oh, it's not bullshit. So this is how it works. In essence, think about your immune system as soldiers, right?
All right.
Okay. Or let's actually even better, police officers. Your immune system's like police officers, right?
Okay.
Okay. So what you're doing when you get the flu shot is you get your
So your immune
get
system will
racial,
kill you if you're black?
Well, no, it gets to racially profile, right? So what you're doing is you're saying, okay, officers, if you see any of this color people, fuck them up, right? And that's what the flu shot is. They bring in a dead black guy and they say, you see any other black guys? This one's dead. He can't hurt you. But if you see any other ones, get the billy clubs out. All right. So that's what the flu shot does. Okay.
I am so
We're not endorsing racially profiling
I'm so
or police
confused.
brutality, but I definitely am endorsing getting a flu shot. And here's the thing. I used to not get my flu shot. And the reason I didn't get my flu shot is I was like, I'm not a fucking pussy. I can get the flu and I can live. And that's true. Like, I'm a relatively healthy person. I can get the flu. I've had the flu. It sucks, but I can handle it. The problem is if you don't get the flu shot, it's not that you can't survive the flu. It's that your baby might not be able to survive the flu. Or more importantly,
You can't put that on me like that, Ricky Bobby.
dude, it's out there.
God dang.
More importantly, and this is the one that really got me. It was about the measles. And people not being willing to vaccinate their kids or getting the measles vaccination. And one of my friends' daughter was very, very sick with a really weird form of cancer and since has passed away. And I don't want to get into it because it makes me fucking sad. But she was like, put a post out on Facebook about how people who were refusing to give their kids measles shots were endangering the life of her child who had a defective immune system and couldn't get a measles vaccination. And the only way to protect her daughter was for the rest of the herd to get the measles vaccination. And if they did, then she wouldn't get measles. But if she gets measles, she's fucking dead. And I was like, shame on me for not getting a flu shot. And that's it. I've gotten a flu shot every year after that.
Well, I was a little apprehensive because I was like, but then I'll get, but then I'm going to know that I'll get sick. And he explained how that works to me because everybody's always like, well, like you get the flu shot and then you're sick for a couple of days. And here's how that works. What it does for the first 36, 48 hours or whatever. You get your flu shot, and then your immune system is weaker for 24 to 48 hours, whatever, right around there.
Right, because they have to go and kick the shit out of the dead.
So a lot of times people will get their shot, and because it's cold and flu season, when they get their shot, then they'll be around. Then their immune system's a little compromised, so they'll be around people, and they'll get sick. They'll pick up that stuff. So that's how you wind up sick after you get the shot. It's not from the shot. It's from, what I did
having
was,
a slightly compromised immune system. But you don't get the flu.
Don't want to fucking
You
get
get
sick.
just a cold or whatever.
Well, let me ask you this. I also know people that have gotten the flu shot then, Dr. Taylor.
Yep.
And
Still get the flu.
yeah, so fuck off with that.
No, that's true. That's 100% true. Because the flu shot
It's just
is
precaution.
it's their best guess
Right. I got you.
of what strains of flu are most likely to hit our area.
Oh, Jesus.
And this year, and typically it's 4 or 5 different strains of the
so
flu.
you got to go get 4 or 5 different
No.
shots?
They only
combine
do the
them,
4.
yeah.
It's one shot, but it's 4 or 5 different flu.
and
vaccines at
they'll
once.
give you a sheet of paper and stuff to tell you what strains or whatever you're like.
But
And-
every once in a while, the flu that comes through isn't covered. Okay, so what?
Yeah, I got
but you were
You're
covered
still
by
eliminating
4.
the rest. I got you.
You're eliminating 4.
I mean-
and typically they pick the ones that have the highest fatality rate. So, and again, it's not
It's
about
like-
me dying from
it's
the
like your
flu.
pullout game.
It's
It's
about
someone
people
else.
with compromised immune systems, especially young children like your darling little baby.
Baby.
I'm just saying, go get your fucking flu shot.
All right.
Now, that said, I am a huge pussy when it comes to intermuscular injections. Like,
Needles?
The worst. I don't mind the needle.
Oh,
No
dude, I
big deal,
fucking
man.
don't know
Just
what it is.
no big deal. But I fucking couldn't use my right arm for 3 days. I'm just like, oh my God, it hurts so much. And I got like a big bruise and everything. And I'm just such a pussy. It's horrible. So the IM injection, I'm just super, super weak. When it
I
comes
don't know
to
what it is, but like I can't do needles. So like when they go even like to take my blood, they're like, okay, go ahead. And I'm like,
yeah,
just let me know when you're done.
it doesn't bother me at all.
And it doesn't hurt. I just,
So what
I
you're
don't
saying
know.
is you're not going to shoot up with me and Matt after this
Yeah.
after the podcast.
Like once you start banging meth, dude, you just get over that
can
fast.
if you guys maybe, you can do it for me maybe.
Yeah,
Just look
that's
away.
not how
Just
it's
look
done.
away. Just look
we
away.
got you.
But no, so yes, anyway.
You'll make a
back to-
horrible heroin addict. All right, yeah. What's not what I don't know how we got on that subject, but it is something that was I wanted to talk about. So yeah, so you're gonna run the Y Club into the ground, and then what?
Yeah, and then I don't know, probably go become an electrician.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah, that's not bad. So what do you do as far as restaurants go? Like the Gambit, or I mean, are you
the who
mostly
what? The who
the game?
what?
Do you do
Sorry, I'm not
everything?
that smart.
Do you do everything like as far as like front of the house, back of the house?
Oh yeah, I mean it's dude. Hey, what do you want to know? I clean. I'm the janitor. I'm the cook. I am the not in those orders.
You go clean the toilets, and then you come back.
Yeah,
and
don't
cook
worry
food.
about it. It tastes good, huh? But no, I
Gonna wash these dishes.
yeah.
Toilet brush all the way back over there. Meh.
This will work fine. But no, so I cook. I mean, essentially, the first thing I like to do, or I guess the first thing that I was raised or trained, or I guess I don't know, to do, is to go in and get the kitchen right.
Right.
Because there's so many different places to go to get a drink and a beer and da 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 da. So if you get your kitchen right, people will come. I mean,
For sure.
I've even had people tell me, Chris, even if you were to have shitty service, the fact that your food is good, we would still come back.
Yeah, it's the one thing. Like if the food sucks, it doesn't matter what else is good.
Yes, exactly.
I
That's
think
my
that's
point.
an easier
True.
way to say it. So like you can go to a place and you'd be like, man, the decor was awesome. That server was fucking great. Like I got my drink like that, but man, the food fucking sucked.
There's
I'm
no
not going to
reason
give you a
to go.
shitty Yelp review, but I'm not coming back. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
On the opposite, you can have
Because
horrible
Yelp is for
service.
fucking-
You can have horrible service. You can wait forever for your drink. You can whatever. But if that fucking food was delicious, all the rest of that just is like
Right.
hopefully they fix the rest of it. But I'll keep coming back. Because,
Exactly.
Like
It was fucking delicious.
it's delicious.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially for like a fat ass like me, I appreciate like I appreciate the good food and real and man-sized portions.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I
3
fucking,
pounds of wings and a pitcher of beer seems a little excessive, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try really hard.
It's
my
good.
my favorite thing, that fucking prime rib sandwich
Oh.
with that au jus and shit, and just
Yeah, that's
Do you do real horseradish?
oh yeah.
Oh God, I'm coming up, man.
Yeah.
I need me some prime rib. When do you do that? When do you do prime rib?
We do prime rib every Friday and Saturday.
Oh, Friday. Awesome. See, that's a problem because everybody does prime rib Saturdays.
Oh yeah.
Almost everybody does.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday.
I work every Saturday.
Oh, so you're screwed.
So for me, it can never. I mean, I'd have to take a day off to go do it.
I have something better for you.
What's
In the in the wintertime, I do a special on Tuesdays as right now. All you can eat prime rib and shrimp.
You're shitting.
Yeah, for $23. It's pretty.
I think you'll lose money on me. I'm not a big guy, but I can put away some food.
Well, hey, we're just happy to have you there, bud. No, it's
we need to haul ass out there after podcast sometime.
We should tonight.
Is it Tuesday?
It is. We do podcasts on Tuesday.
I think I forgot to make it. I'm just kidding.
Back in the day, when my ma used to work at my coffee shop back in the day, and she was like this big kind of mean woman, and we were just joking one time, but we were talking about how we were gonna do an all you should eat buffet.
You should, yeah.
and it would be like it'd be like a regular buffet, but just ma would sit there at the end and just be like, put that cake away, just judge you as you're coming through.
Just
I don't. There's the salad.
That's fucking amazing.
All you should eat.
Oh, you should eat. All Mama says. Yeah.
Hits you with the fucking spatula when you go for another piece.
Dude, but see, in our school, they used to get us, and here's, I don't know, I mean, some people are going to hate this or not, but don't send your kids to private schools, okay? I mean, unless, like, you really think that's the way to go.
Children.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a, well, I went to, like, a church school, and should we tell the story about how I got choked out by my music teacher?
Fuck yeah.
All right. Okay, so prime example. I mean, I kind of was a little shit, you know.
You are kidding me.
Yeah,
I can't see it.
Make people laugh, I guess, whatever. But I was in music class, and not to say that this wouldn't happen at public school, because just as much messed up stuff does.
Yeah.
But the smacking with the rulers, that shit was messed up. But anyway,
So you had nuns and shit?
No, they weren't nuns. I mean, I don't know that they were nuns. They weren't dressed like nuns. They just enforced like the like wearing all the uniforms and shit right as I left, so I was cool with that. Like, but
no dirty habits.
No, but here, this story is freaking awesome. So I was in music class, and here's the kicker. So my parents told me, Chris, if you fuck up again, you're not doing nothing all summer long, right? So it's like the end of the school year, and so I'm like, okay, I'll be a good boy, you know.
How old are you?
4th grade.
Oh, okay. Fuck yeah.
Maybe 5th.
You were rough.
Maybe 5th.
Yeah, what is that, like 9?
I was
shooting the neighbor's turkeys.
Yeah, well, I was whatever, pissing off my music teacher. But anyway, so I go to music class, and it was my turn to run the overhead, the projector that throws the words up so everybody can sing along, and I'll never forget. So I like flipped the words upside down so nobody could read them, and the teacher's like, God damn it, Chris, I just shouldn't say that, but don't be messing up, da, 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 da. Like gave me my warning, so to speak. And I don't know if she's just having a bad day or whatnot. I'm not going to say her name, but it is Miss Chris. Like, it was weird because her name was Christ. You know what I mean? Her last name was Christ. And it worked. Okay. Anyway, so I was being a good boy, and I legitimately was like, okay, because I'm not gonna mess up and get sent to the office and have my mom and dad be like, dude, what did we tell you? You know what I mean? So essentially, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a good boy and do the words right. I accidentally like had it twisted sideways or some shit, like, you know what I mean? She thought I did it on purpose, like, but legitimately I was like literally like, okay, don't mess up again, dude, And
you're so nervous. Yeah, you messed it up.
Dude, turned it sideways, and I'll never forget. And I wasn't looking, because I'm looking at the class and they're all laughing and smiling again. I'm like, what the hell? And the teacher's like, bump on the piano, and just comes over and like Bart Simpson handed
fucking strangling you.
Yeah, dude. And like, so I'm shitting bricks.
I wonder if she still teaches.
I don't know. I hope she does. But so
kids
we need more teachers like that, dude. We need more teachers like that.
True.
Actually, she was a little crazy, but maybe just not that one. Anyway, so I'm like, she's like, get your butt to the office. I'm like, oh, like V-line it out the door. And I'm like, God, the whole walk to the office. I'm like, I am screwed. Like, I'm not going to see any of my friends, no video games, no TV, no nothing. And I get up to the principal's office, and Mr. Koberman was his name. And he, what did you do, Chris? And I said, well, I messed up on the overhead, and he's like, and I was like, then she grabbed me by my neck, and he's like, what? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, why don't you sit in the corner? And he must have called the lady, and figured out yeah, this lady just straight up strangled this kid. And he comes back to me and he's like, Chris, how about for the rest of the school year during music time, you just come up here and work on your homework? I was like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? So thinking to myself, I'm not going to tell my parents, I'm expecting
dodged a bullet.
Yeah, them to already be called home, right? You know what I mean? So I get home, nothing, mom doesn't say nothing, dad doesn't say nothing. And so I'm like, okay, fuck, they didn't tell on me. That's cool, The whole time, as I'm getting older, I hit my senior year, and I'm like, damn, that teacher straight up choked me out. I could have probably sued that school for millions. I'd be doing nothing right now, And instead, I'm working 110 hours a week at a restaurant that, like you said, probably gonna fail. Who knows?
It's not gonna do that.
No, but yeah, that was my.
So this is that. So there's only 2 people now that I know who have rape choked somebody.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't go unconscious.
No, I got it. My brother
Kyle's
used
the only
to.
guy who got the rape choke the guy unconscious.
I mean, my brother and I used to fight a lot, and he would always choke me. So I think my like neck muscles grew pretty good, you know? Like, cause
See,
even
I think I built up an immunity to being choked over the years by lots of rough sex.
yours is way better than mine.
And maybe some autoerotic asphyxiation. But
Oh, Jesus, Kyle.
sorry, Mom.
I have an autoerotic asphyxiation study. I don't even know what that shit's called. So I have like a neck injury, right? Well, I mean, I pretty much have an injury, right, from my head to my toe. Everything fucking hurts. But I have I have 3 vertebrae in my neck that like grew together because they were touching for so long that they actually kind of grew together. So I had to get this thing that would pop my head off, and it looks like a thing that you wear in a car, or if you got into like a car accident,
Right. Like
for
a chest
what's
thing
that?
coming.
No, what's that thing called?
A neck brace?
Leg brace, yeah.
Yeah, whiplash for
Oh, okay,
whiplash,
yeah.
right? But you put that on and Velcro, and then you pump that thing up.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So I was sitting there one night. I was fucking watching something, True Blood or whatever it was, and I like had that thing on and I pumped it up. Well, I must have pumped it up a little too much.
Oh.
And I fucking choked myself out
What?
by myself, too.
Dude. And your pants were by your ankles, weren't they?
I woke
I
up.
know you like to keep your regular movies separate from your porn and stuff, but True Blood,
Right, that's exactly it. I don't know if it was True Blood, but I woke up in the middle of the night because it
Your dog
had
was
a
like-
tiny little leak in
Oh.
it. Right, I could have fucking died. I don't know.
Dude, that's insane.
But yeah, so it had like a little tiny leak in it or whatever. And I woke up and I was like, oh, and then I'm like, oh my God. If I would have died, nobody would have believed that I wasn't fucking whacking off.
Yeah,
Nobody
no,
would have
no.
believed it. Like, I was like, God damn it.
yeah.
that
Can't be
one
doing
totally
this by
depends on who
myself.
finds you, you know?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Like, because if, if somebody, if some decent person found you, you'd be fine. But if I found you, I would have totally pulled your pants down and be like, ha ha ha, that's how Matt died.
Yeah, take a couple
don't-
pictures.
That's not
I
how
don't
that
think
would
I
work,
was
but-
wearing pants. Like, I mean,
We knew it. We knew it
Like-
from the start.
I slept naked. It wasn't that big of a deal.
No,
I
yeah,
just got
man.
out of the shower. It was all loose. Put that
Loosey-goosey.
thing on and choked myself out. So after that, I've been.
So you were
very-
naked legitimately when you woke
Yeah.
up? Oh my God. Yeah, then nobody would have believed
Nobody
you.
would have
No.
believed me.
You're like,
Like,
First David Carradine, now this.
Jesus. Martha.
what, David Carradine died of that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I just remember
Oh,
the
wow.
guy from In Excess. In Excess.
Oh, in excess.
The only one that I
Is that
remember,
how he died? I don't
Michael
think that's
Hutchins.
how he died.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the only
No.
thing I remember of anything of anybody dying like that was the movie that Robin Williams was in, and his like kid killed himself like that. It was actually a really touching movie, kind of sad, like not the type of movie I normally watch, but I'm not sure what it was called. But he like finds his kid straight up like Kyle used to do, with like tied up his neck and
Used to.
well, I haven't been at your house in a while, but yeah. So in like the dad, which is Robin Williams, finds the kid like in his closet with his computer up, and he was jerking his gherkin, so to speak, and yeah, like it was a sack. I'm not really a sensitive person. Now that I have a baby, I guess I'm a little more sensitive than I
Let's
was.
do it.
Yeah, like,
See, it's kind of
fuck.
weird. I went the opposite.
Well,
on that. I remember like I tried to read The Stand like when I was pretty young and before I had kids, and like I had a really hard time. Like in the beginning, it's just horrible and the children are dying, and I was like, ooh, like I didn't want. And then like I had kids and I read The Stand. It's no big deal. It's like I think some ways it like desensitizes.
Oh
you.
no, I will agree. I will
So
agree with that.
we talked before about Rob Roy.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Rob Roy?
No.
Okay,
Liam
well,
Neeson.
it's an old movie, but it's about the like the Scots and whatever.
Okay.
But in early on in the movie, there's this really brutal rape scene, and it really fucked the movie up for me, and I was never able to watch it. And that was a hell of a long time ago. Before I think even before I had children at that point. And Kyle wants me to revisit the movie, and I'm going to, and I bet I won't have a problem with it now. Not that I have any different opinion on rape. It's just my life's been longer. I have way more experiences. So
Yes,
I
that
don't,
experience is, I think, is what makes people not become a pussy.
right.
You know, I mean, so to speak, in
Yeah,
layman's terms.
I think I'm less. I think I'm in some ways less sensitive. But then again, I'm still get fucking choked up about weird shit all the time.
Isn't it weird? It's like the stupid shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes somebody like I'll be like trying to tell somebody a story about something that I saw, you know, like something that moved me at the time, and I'm like, no, I'm just telling the story, and I'm getting choked up. I'm fucking terrible at this.
I was yesterday. I ran over to Logan's house to watch Ronan for a short period of time. My grandbaby. Ronan's mom had a flat tire or something, so it was just really short. But Logan put on the movie Bolt. Me and Ronan, do you remember the movie? It's about a dog, girl and her dog.
Yep.
Fuck, I saw it long. I mean, it's probably 10 years old now, and but it's animated.
But now that I've got Disney, I'm going to watch The Fox and the Hound.
Yes.
I was like, this movie. I was like choking up. We're 10 minutes into the movie. I'm like, fuck, I gotta go, man.
I gotta go.
Just sit here
I can't do this.
It's animated ones get me really bad. It's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, it seems like animated ones are horror. I was telling you about Toy Story 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's
Yeah.
sad.
My favorite was always Fantasia, but
Yeah, you
Explains
do a bunch
it.
of
The drugs.
damn you, Mickey Mouse.
I got to ask you about something or bring something up.
Yeah.
So we were talking about hunting and stuff like that, but I know that your first love in the world of like sports and outdoor stuff is snowboarding.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, hands down.
Really?
That's why I'm alive. I mean, if you want to say like what makes me feel at peace and happiness, I mean, besides of course my baby girl, is snowboarding. I mean, I can't explain the feeling.
Really?
Yeah.
I've only snowboarded once in my life, and it was when I was first with my second wife Jess, but we were first just together dating, and she was like really wanted to go snowboarding, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll go snowboard. I used to fucking skateboard. I was never good at it, but you know, whatever, I can do it. And I bought a snowboard and boots and all that shit. It was expensive.
Yeah.
And I fucking went snowboarding once, and I bombed the hill the first time. Fucking ended up doing a cartwheel down the hill.
Yeah.
And like landed at the bottom of the hill, just all broken up. And I fucking grabbed my snowboard and I threw it, and I stomped off there. And she's like, "Are you all right?" And I was just like,
I'm out.
fucking
I'm out.
I was like, I'm never fucking, you know, done. Like, yeah. So that's my snowboarding experience.
Yeah.
I don't get the tranquil part.
And I
But
guess
then again, you're probably good at it.
you know, I when I started, I wasn't.
Right.
Because I used to be a good skier, you know, and like I didn't even really want
Yeah.
to change. I was like, I'm downhill skier.
You must have
That's
been
my
pretty.
thing.
Were you young when you learned to ski though?
Yeah.
See, and I think that's super duper important with
Yeah,
things
for
like that.
sure. For sure.
It's like water skiing too. Water skiing just fucking hurts like
Yeah,
hell
that sucks.
unless you're like really good at
Mhm.
it. And like skiing, but if you're young, and because then you're
Build it used to it.
unbreakable.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. Plus, when you're like a kid, you can do whatever.
Yeah, and not
And,
and have
yeah,
any consequences.
You're like,
I actually just watched my cousin's little kid. It wasn't funny, but it was funny how like none of the guys got up really, but the girls like rushed. So the little kid, I think I was telling you this, maybe I don't know. We had them all decked out with their snow gear because it was at deer camp and they were going outside, la da da da. So like a tiny little kid with like looking like the Michelin Man trying to get upstairs, their knees don't bend that high, right?
right.
So, oh my God, I'm going to hell. But the little girl took a step and the knee or the leg didn't get up to the step. She thought it did, went to like brace herself and just like everybody watched it. Like first fell down on the first step and just like rolled down to the second step. Right. And that's when like the women were like just getting up and like the guys are still looking. Then finally, bam, right onto the cement floor. And, none of the guys got up. I mean, obviously my cousin Corey, it's his kid. So he's like, shit, and he runs over there and the mom's like, what the hell? And he's like, why didn't you grab the rail? And of course, just being a little kid. But dude, she shook that off like nothing. I mean, the tears lasted like a minute.
It's more, if like she had been alone, she probably would have just shook it off, got up, and went back up the stairs.
That's one of those things I'm
it's
really
like
careful
that
with
reaction.
my reactions.
Yes.
When, because if you fought, like, I fucking hate to see people do that shit too. Because, like, you watch a little kid like fuck up, hurt themselves or whatever. Not even hurt themselves. Some kind of accident like that.
Right.
I always go to like fucking like poker face, But like you see people like, if people freak out enough, the kid's gonna cry.
Right.
Because it's a good instinct.
And on the other hand, if they're really hurt, it's apparent.
Yeah.
When one time me and Peyton were gonna go fishing, and he was probably 11, and he like slammed the door of the car, but his finger was inside of it, and he slams his finger in the door of the car, and I he's screaming.
Oh shit.
And then I run over there and try to open the door, and I realized that I locked it, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm trying to find my fucking keys to unlock the door. It was the worst. It was the worst thing.
Shit.
That was so bad. Oh, that reminds. This is hilarious. So I was at my dad's house. So this is when my dad is now like home or whatever, but this is when he was still okay. But he lived in a house, and it had a garage door, but didn't have a garage door opener. So it was one of those doors with the panels or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I was doing some shit for him, and I went to like shut the garage door. And I shut the garage door, and my finger gets stuck in between one of those, right? And I'm like, and it gets
locks.
It locks. and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm reaching down, and I can't pull it up, and I can't and I'm just stuck. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Help.
And I mean, it's just killing me. And I was like,
I have to knock my finger off.
I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Nobody's around. My dad, I don't know where my dad was. Just screaming. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, seriously, like I was like, I was seriously like grabbed to see if I had my pocket knife on me.
What did you do then?
I did have my pocket knife on me.
You got all your fingers.
I just fucking yanked it out.
Oh, okay.
I went.
Yeah, that's the thing to do.
And I just yanked it out, and I.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
That hurt like.
I black finger, and it's all smashed, and lost most of the skin. But fuck it, I lived.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that hurt. That hurt. Anyway, yeah. Wow, weird. So, where do you snowboard at then?
Well, I do a lot. I used to live out in Breckenridge, Colorado area, for many years in the wintertime. So that's my. I buy a pass for Vail Resorts.
Oh,
it kind of
wow.
lets me go all over. I have a friend, I'm sure a lot of people probably even in this podcast may know the Worleys. So there's Jade Worley. He's a good buddy of mine, born and raised Brainerd here. And he lives out in Utah. So I go and visit him over there, and there's some resorts that are involved in my past there. And then there's also, obviously being that I lived in Colorado, I have a lot of friends still there. So I just go out there, and actually one of them, he gives me a room and lets me use his vehicle. Huh. And he's a good friend of mine, Mateo. So those are my two main ones. Obviously in Minnesota.
There's not a lot. You got Duluth, and then
but honestly, I will say this: Ski-Gull has really stepped their game up as far as small town, small mountain resort,
right?
But I gotta say, they actually had I think a new person in charge, or I don't know however it worked, but this last year, and I felt they did amazing. They brought a lot of new things, events, stuff like that. Like I believe in any business, you gotta give people a reason to come out. Now granted, right, that's the snow hill, so people are going to come anyway, but okay, how do we get more people to come? How do we start bringing some different demographics in, you know what I mean? So I feel like she really did a good job on that, and
cool.
And they've spent some money to kind of up their stuff and make it a little bit nicer. So
cool. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I like watching it on TV.
Yeah, I like doing it
from my very comfortable
chair. And you have sustained a few injuries.
Oh God, yeah.
Snowboarding.
Yeah. Many, couple. Few. I've blown out my knee, separated shoulders multiple times, dislocated shoulders multiple times. There was times even somebody rolled up to me like, "Hey, are you alive?" So I'll never forget that one, man. I went off a very big jump for me. I think it was like whatever, 40, 50 feet or
Fuck, what?
I mean, that's, you know, from like lip to lip. So you're generally shooting like, so, yeah, it was a big jump.
He doesn't do the novice shit. Like
It was like I used to, okay, so.
That's what I did on my first hill.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Accidentally.
But yeah, so these guys that, one of the times I was living in Colorado, with another gentleman from the area, they had put out on Craigslist or whatever, like room for rent. Like literally we were just like loading beds behind like the couches and whatnot. Like, there's your room, you know what I mean? Like, hey, $150, you know what I mean? You know? So, but we literally like packed them in this house. And so anyways, we put this on there and these Japanese guys got a hold of us and they were training for the Olympics. And over in Japan, they get so much snow, they really don't have a lot of terrain parks because, I mean, it snows like 9 feet overnight shit. You know what I mean? Like crazy. Yeah. And
I didn't know
so
that.
they came over here to train. Now they didn't know like a lick. I mean, very small English, right? So like these guys were essentially my roommates because I was in the living room right behind the couch,
Right?
You know. So anyways, we became good buddies and I've never hit these big ass jumps. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, dude, fuck.
And these guys are good.
Oh, dude, this is insane. Like these guys, I was like, damn, you know what I mean? But like they're doing like Shaun White jumps and stuff like that, and. So they're like, come on, you come, you know. All right, man. And that's Yohei and Yoshia. They're awesome guys. And they say, you follow us in, you know, just follow behind. Because, I mean, how fast do you go to hit something like that? You know what I mean? So, so no problem, whatever. I hit them and I landed a few, you know what I mean? And, you know, tried to do a trick on them. And I landed it, right? And it was like getting towards the end of the season. So I was like a little bit more fearless, you know what I mean? Because you're like, well, shit, if
I've lived this many times, fuck it. I'm
yeah,
all
and you
in.
know, it's like the season's over with. If I get injured, it's not, you know, whatever. You know, and so I go and I do this like little, I mean, big 360, but it's just 360, you know, and I'm like, whoo, that shit felt good, you know? And I was like, God, I feel I can do a little better on it, you know? And I was like, let's just do one more run. All right, we'll do one more. So we get back up there and I'm coming into it and I land it and I'm like, oh, like kind of riding away, like, damn, that felt good. And all of a sudden, oh shit, boom, like out of nowhere, just like a chunk of ice was there, right? Like took out my feet straight from underneath me. Now I'm going like 30 miles an hour, maybe estimate. You know? Like flying.
Horrible.
Flying. And I'd never forget it because my heels, they literally hit the back of my head while I'm like sliding down the hill on my chest. Like for one, knock my chest. You know, you're sitting there trying to breathe and these all of a sudden I get kicked in the back of the head by my own feet, you know, and I'll never forget because obviously I'm not sure if I got knocked out or not. But the dude rolled up to me and he's just like, hey, you alive? You know, I'm just sitting here like, I think so. And I just remember like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Did you sustain any injuries from that?
So here's the kicker. That one I did not. It was like the gnarliest crash I ever did. I did not. It's like, honestly, I went to the doctor because I was like, dude,
something's got to be broken.
Yeah, I heard noises that I've never heard before. Right. So I went in, the doctor's like, God, and here's the kicker. I could never get my fingers to touch the ground. Right, like just bending over. Well, the doctor's like, yeah, I don't know, it looks all good. And he's like, let's have you do a touch the ground, you know, thing. I could put my whole palm on the ground. Right, I'm like, what the hell? This thing just like
just busted some shit up in
dude.
there.
So he's like, yeah,
made
he's like,
it better.
All the old scar tissue buildup you had in your spine because I got hit by a car when I was younger. It's a long story too, but he's like, yeah, it broke up all that scar tissue. So my mobility was like insane, dude.
It's awesome.
Yeah, right.
Just
great.
Throw me down a hill.
Yeah,
right.
But here's the kicker. Like the next day I go out riding.
You could move the next day.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's back in the day, you know, you could drink some booze, hop back on the mountain, you don't feel nothing, you'll be all right. And however, I may have had one too many cocktails this day on the mountain and I tried jumping over like
so you were drinking and boarding at the same time?
Hell yeah, liquid confidence. I mean, I don't even really drink now, so I used to be a pretty crazy little boy on the board and on the booze and all that good stuff. You know?
Yeah, it doesn't seem smart.
Yeah, no, and I mean that goes into a whole nother series of snowboarding and la da da da. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna jump over this pine tree, you know.
This is the day after you almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
why not?
Yeah, clearly you're immortal.
Yeah, felt good, 9 lives. And I'm like, so I go to jump over it, right? And it's right under the chairlift, right? So like people are always watching, you know, and you do it, you get a bunch, woo, it makes you feel good, right? And I've done this trick like 1,000 times, right? And I don't know what happened. Oh, probably too much liquid confidence,
wasted, obviously.
and like missed the setup a little bit and clipped the top of the pine tree, right? And like essentially the pine tree was on like a little 8-foot drop, right? So you kind of dropped in, and when I fell like backwards and like popped my shoulder up, right? And this shoulder was touching my ear.
Yeah, that's
for like 2.5 hours. So I get down to the thing and they're like, well, you can take an ambulance. And at this time I didn't have health insurance. And I was like, dude, that's $2,000. I was like, the hospital's like 8 blocks away, you know? But every step was like excruciating pain for me.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like sitting here and I'm like, she's like, or you can wait for the free bus to come get you. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait. And I get in there, dude. And I'm just like sitting here like this. And I was in excruciating pain.
I have a, whatever it's called, class 3 shoulder separation.
So yeah, you
and
know,
it's the most painful injury I've ever had.
It is.
I was in ninth grade. I got speared by a football helmet. And
that would do it.
It's horrible. And I mean, it's still kind of horrible.
Yeah, you feel it forever.
The thing has never been right.
This one sits
you have
lower.
A big old bump.
And we just discovered why he doesn't like the movie Rudy.
Do you have that big old?
No, I didn't get that.
Didn't get
Mine
that
sits forward.
Yeah, so yours is different.
Yep. And but so I didn't think it was that bad, you know, like, cause I'm like, well, whatever, I'm partially drunk, so
right.
The pain tolerance was like, I'm just gonna wait it out, you know. And so I get to the hospital, and this is when I knew it was bad. This kid was sitting there in the hospital, emergency room, with his like knee all jacked up. Like I thought, I was like, damn, you know, when I saw it, and he was crying, like hard crying. And when he saw the doctor cut my shirt off, he's like, oh, and like stopped crying, and like was just like
I am a pussy.
Yeah. and so I'm sitting here and I'm like, shit. Oh, you know, just like, you know what it feels like.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah, and the doctor comes in and I'm like, look, man, I was like, I've dislocated this before. I'm pretty sure it's just a dislocation. You know, that's what my eyes and what it felt like, you know, and well, we're going to do some x-rays. And I was like, dude, fuck, what do you mean? I was like, it's not broken. I've had broken bones. I know, you know. And well, they did like 8 x-rays because they wanted to make money. And they come back and like an hour and a half later, so it's been 2.5 hours. And he comes back and he's like, well, you're right. It's not broken. And he's like, give it here. And just like popped it back. And I was like, you son of a bitch. You could have had this over like 2 hours ago, you know. But no, that was like the worst, I think, as far as I mean, the knee was bad too. I blew my knee out.
Do you have to have surgery?
Yeah. ACL, PCL, and then like a slight tear in the MCL. But yeah, that was insane. That was stupid though. That was like the way I like it just like twisted funny on my snowboard.
That's one of the most common injuries in jiu-jitsu is torn ACLs.
Oh, fuck that then.
Yeah. I've been
because that hurt, man.
Knock on wood. I mean, I've been so lucky. My ex-wife had to do it twice, and which is super common. And people end up having them more than once because they're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Because they take time to rehab.
Yeah.
But but I've been super lucky with that. But I don't remember what I was saying. Just that it's
they're not fun.
Not fun.
Yeah,
it takes forever to recover.
But yeah, I mean, I've had a few injuries, man, and I still go back out there. Though. I still, you know,
Well, people say all the time, like I'm always beat up, you know, from doing jets, and people are like, you know, like, well, like why do you do that to yourself? And I'm like, because I kind of want to continue to be alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, well, because it's really like not where all of my joy comes from, but without it, there isn't any. Like if I have to like take off any significant amount of time, I can just watch my joy shrink down. And it's not for me so much about the sport. It's also about the people. It's about the family. It's about the connections. It's about the friendships. But yeah, so I mean, I get the idea of doing extreme sports. Yeah. I just didn't grok fucking snowboarding. I was like, fuck this. I was not very good at skateboarding either, though, honestly. Like when I was a kid, we used to skate all the time, and I was bad at it.
I'm all right. I mean, I don't think I'm like, fuck, nowadays.
I was just a kick push getting to the, you know.
For a 30-year-old man, I think I can hang with a lot more, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but I honestly haven't really skated that much this year just because I own a restaurant.
Oh, you still skate?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You do the longboard skating?
I do. Not as much because when I did the longboards, I used to do the big hills.
Yeah, and the thing, like longboards are definitely more like a transportation even
nowadays. Yeah. See, when they first came out, like longboards were not like, I mean, they were meant for transportation, but they're more like get your ass on that big ass hill and see how fast you can get going. And hope to God you don't fall.
Kyle and I, like we're back in the Thrasher days.
Yeah.
I mean, we remember, you know, like I mean. When we were skateboarding, like skateboards
had square
like,
backs,
and they had like all
rails
sorts of rails and
whatever.
Yeah.
The
Sliders. The chucks were like, you know, had the spacers in between and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
at times it's
the
crazy.
The worst one I ever did is we just this little tiny fucking shitty little like quarter pipe, I guess it was, just a drop in,
right.
And it was like 4 feet tall. And it sucks because there's a fucking videotape of it out there.
Oh, yes, I want to see this. If you have it, bring it to me.
I don't think it still exists, so let's pray. But I'm standing on top of there and, you know, like going to drop in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm 15 years old. So this is, 31 years ago.
Right.
And I fucking drop in, but my back foot stays. And my front foot goes, and I do the splits on the thing,
in there.
and I'm just screaming, grabbing my balls,
that's why I don't do rails anymore.
And that's just all on video. Yep. I was like, oh, joy.
There's a few good falls of me on video. Actually, there's a lot. There's going to be one actually on this next edit. I will have to show you.
What do you mean next edit?
So I still make videos for snowboarding and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, do you do like video production shit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All sorts of stuff.
Really?
I
should have led with that.
Yeah. I do. I mean, I have a couple of friends that to me are really fucking good, dude. I mean,
good snowboarders.
Yeah. Like I've got one buddy from Brainerd here, Scotty. He's actually my friend's little brother. Now we've actually become almost like best friends. You know what I mean?
Huh.
So it's kind of crazy just because of the paths that he's taken into the snowboarding industry, and now it's kind of become his life. Huh. It's been real cool for me because it's almost like having my little brother. You know what I mean? He's, you know, because we're pretty much family. I mean, his mom, I used to live at her house. But so, anyways, like he's really good. So like. My opinion, I'm like, okay, how do I help this kid with the knowledge that I have and with the people that I know in the industry? How can I get him, you know, a little more, I guess, centered into the sport?
So you doing like drones and
so
GoPros
I started getting into the drones, but now a lot of resorts banned them.
Yeah, that sucks.
So because I was like, I bought a drone for that reason because I was like, I want to film all this shit. I mean, the
super
angles,
cool.
Yeah, it's badass, dude. So
like you can't do better than that. Like
you're not going to get.
Yeah, that's just beautiful.
And so I got like decent at flying them, but then they ended up like, oh, no more of that. They let them on there for like 2 years, and then people were like, privacy, you know, or whatever the hell it is.
I mean, like you could still do it, but you'd almost have to like you'd have to like
get permission or something,
rent. You know, you'd have to like have the whole
rent
hill.
The hill. Yeah, something like crazy.
Right.
Which I've actually opted to do before at Skigel. But you know, the price that they gave me was like crazy because I was going to bring some really good riders in from some other areas, and to do, you know, kind of like a little film session on a small hill.
You might have to get some like you have to get some sponsors on board.
Yeah, and I mean,
it could happen.
I think for sure it could.
Skigel should actually.
Yeah,
you should.
That's what I was.
You should pitch them to do it as a promotional video for them.
Right.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah. And you know, and they're not prone. Like that's the nice thing about the people that are running it now is they're not prone to shutting down a part of the hill. Because last year I actually went out there and a company did rent out the hill for the day, and it was kind of funny because I got there and I'm like, this is my like one of my kid hills. I've been here forever. So I get there and they're like, oh, you can't ride today. fuck you mean I can't ride today? You know, and they're like, oh, these guys rented out the hill.
So because they only have one.
So I know,
But I mean, like when you're out in Colorado, like
Yeah.
they can shut down a hill.
Oh, no
and
problem.
There's like 5 million other ones. Yeah.
But so like, and it was only the train park, but that's like the only reason why I go to Skigo. I'm not going to do laps personally. So I looked over and was like, well, why? You know, and they're like, well, that guy over there. And fortunately, one of the managers there knew me. And so, because I went up to the guy and I said, look, man, I said, I don't know what your thing is. He's like, well, we're, you know, doing a video session, da 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 da. And I was like, well, you know, I've been riding here forever, and I don't know who you are, but I would like to ride my hometown hill.
You're not from around.
You know what I mean? Like, and he was actually pretty cool. He's like, well, and like, thank God one of the ladies vouched for me. And she's like, he's actually a pretty decent rider, you know? And so then he's like, well, okay, I guess. And like, you know, I mean, I went out there and did some tricks and had some fun. But the messed up part about it was they were a mitten company, right? Which collab, great. They're awesome. Local. I love it. So I'm promoting them. Go ahead, collab. But my friends, my dear friends from when I was younger, started a company out in Colorado called Hobo Headwear.
Oh, cool.
And so I've been rocking them. So I kind of felt really shitty because as I'm like, you know, riding by these guys that are filming, I'm like, woo, like with my gloves, you know what I mean?
You were an asshole.
Well, you're going to come to my hometown and tell me I can't ride
I
my
rented
hill.
that motherfucker. I'll do whatever I want.
No, they were really cool. I ended up knowing a lot of the kids that were riding with them and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was good. And I actually saw friends from...
Dude, when you rent the hill, I'm coming out there.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm going to do like that cartwheel trick I do
I'm in.
where I go down the hill.
I want to see it.
And I'm going to do the trick where I fall right at the top, and by the time I reach the bottom, I'm a giant snowball. And, you know, just like in the movies.
Well, that happens to the best of us. I've had a few of those, if you look.
Cool. Well, I think, Kyle, you are turning into a pumpkin.
Yeah, I've got unfortunately, I've got to go.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, man. It's cool to actually like meet you.
Yeah, man. And you too. I've
Yeah.
been hearing
Like,
great things.
Meet you? What?
To meet you instead of just be the Facebook friends. And I'm looking forward to getting out to the Y Club. They got prime rib Friday and Saturday. All you can eat every day, all the time.
Yeah, we got a lot of really good specials, man. Go check us out on
Yeah, it really
Facebook.
does.
Is the best
Well,
way.
yeah, it's Tuesday nights of the no. What's the one where you can get the fucking
Shrimp and prime rib.
No,
That's
I'm
Tuesday,
fucking
right?
I'm just fixed on this
The
3
wings.
pounds of wings and a pitcher of beer for $16. That's just too good of a deal.
It is.
And you get a craft beer. What was it? $20 or something?
Yeah, for $4 more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
just
nothing.
ridiculous.
But yeah, that's Wednesday nights.
That's Wednesday
There's
nights.
always. I'm
Oh,
almost like I'm like
God damn, we're gonna have to
the
switch
all
that
you
up.
can eat man. You know, like I mean, every day it seems like there's almost an all you can eat out there. But
Which is
it's
why
good.
I miss you having you in town here.
I know. Well, don't I mean,
It's 20 minutes. We can make it.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
don't be
true.
scared. Don't be scared. I mean, and you know, like I said, everybody like that. A lot of people go. It's crazy how many people go to the casino.
Yeah, I never do. I hate
Yeah,
it.
that's not my thing.
I don't like to give my money away, so I'm
Yeah.
not a big fan of it. But I am fortunate enough to say,
Even though
I'm-
you've started a restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Whatever. It's all right. It's different.
But yeah, it is what it is. I honestly just love the people I get to see.
Yeah.
That's the
No, it's
best
cool.
part.
It's cool industry, and I love watching people do it right. So
Hopefully I can.
I'll report back.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Let me know because
Oh,
if something wasn't right, I'll
I
have to
always.
fucking.
I'm a little. Nah, I just bitch about you on Yelp.
Oh fuck! You're one of those guys.
Never.
No, we
You're
fucking.
one
We
of
hate
those.
Yelp.
Oh my
Everybody
God.
knows Yelp is for cunts.
Dude, I fucking do it all the time.
No, you do reviews on Yelp?
Yeah.
Bad ones?
I'm like, you guys fucking suck.
You're shitting.
You're the worst
You do
fucking
not.
establishment I've ever been in. If Sandy
You were
Lou
like-
doesn't get fired,
you were like
you're
the-
going down.
You're like, the food was excellent, the service was great, but I just didn't like the way that the waitress wore her shirt.
Yeah, she was a.
I'm giving her a 1. I'm giving
She-
them a 1 star.
Yeah, 1 star. Yeah,
If
like,
that
or
were-
like the best I give is they didn't give me enough drink in my drink. You know, like, well, I don't know if you know this, but there's supposed to be a limit.
And I like we talk about that at the bar all the time, but people are like, make it strong, and I'm like, you want a double?
Yeah,
And they're like, No, just make it strong. Oh, you want a short one? No, make it strong. You have two choices.
Yeah.
You can pay for double alcohol, or you can pay for less Pepsi.
Right.
Those are your choices.
Yeah.
How would you like it again?
You know, a lot of people look at it. I think the big kicker, here's one for you. We're going to leave with this one, okay? I'll never forget this. I'm not going to say any names. But some people came into Hassie's.
Yeah.
Okay. And God, I hope they're not going to see this. Because they're going to know who they are.
Nobody watches the show except for you.
Bullshit.
You and Eric.
But so anyways, they come in and they're talking with my bartender. And they're like, oh, yeah, we know Chris. We fucking go way back. Da, 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 right? Just talking about how they know me and how they're friends of mine. And I come out from the kitchen to make a water or whatever, right? So I'm filling my water up and I look over and the bartender just kind of has a smirk on her face. Like, if you knew what the fuck they were saying, Chris, you'd die. So I'm sitting now. I kind of pitch in to listen and they're like, yeah, Chris is a buddy of mine in high school. Da, da, da. And I was like, hey, man, how's it going? And he's like, oh, good, man. How you doing? And I was like, good. And he's like, what's your name? And I was like, shit, I'm Chris. And he's like, oh, yeah, that is you. And I was just like, this dude had no fucking clue who I was. You know what I mean? But I was telling this lady how he was my best friend. Da, 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 da.
That's actually why I stopped wearing gym shirts. Period. I don't wear gym shirts anymore. Because if ever I'd go anywhere out at a bar, especially at a bar, it'd be some fucking guy come up to me and be like, hey, you train at whatever gym it would be, start at this point. And I'd be like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I trained with Brock. I was like, do you? Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. How long have you been training? Oh, I've been training with him for years.
You're like,
really?
Weird.
Interesting. I mean, like,
yeah,
impossible.
Yeah, and you're like, I've
been to
there.
every class he's ever done. Like, there's no chance. Yeah. So, I mean, now it's definitely possible.
Right,
he trains
but
in
yeah,
St.
no,
Cloud
I know
and
what
train
you mean.
But I mean, yeah, we used to like it was just like. So I just was like, you know what? I don't want to talk douchebags.
Right.
I'm just gonna. And if somebody else is wearing a fucking whatever shirt, I don't be like, hey, I'm just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
The last thing in the world I want to talk about to somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about is jujitsu.
Yeah. So. Like me.
No, I
don't know if I can.
I mean,
however,
I never want to talk about jujitsu in a bar with somebody who's drunk and they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I'll talk somebody's ear off about jiu-jitsu if they actually want to talk about jiu-jitsu.
Right.
I mean, I can get so goddamn geeky that people have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. Me and Danny did it for like 20 minutes on a couple podcasts ago.
That's awesome.
We're like, I looked over at Kyle and he had this look on his face like, I have no idea. And then he's like, I just have to pee. But really, he had no idea what we were talking about.
I just have to pee. He's like, I'll be back when you're done with this.
He hadn't understood a word in like 20 minutes.
For sure.
I dozed off for a while.
Cool.
I kept my eyes open.
Well, no, I appreciate you guys letting me on here, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, man.
Very
I had a
fun.
blast.
Yeah,
I had a
fuck,
blast.
it took us for because I've tried to. This is like a second or third attempt.
Yeah,
to schedule
dude,
something.
It's really hard and crazy, but I should have had more fun today.
Well, I
than
mean,
did.
you should have plenty of time. I mean,
Yeah,
running a
I own my
restaurant,
own
Yeah,
business.
it's not that time-consuming.
Owning your own business, you got all the time in the world.
Yes.
Right?
That's
You're
what
your own
people-
boss. You show up when you want.
make all the money.
And I'm rich. I'm like you guys.
That used to be such a hard
Rich.
thing to explain to people this is my favorite, but because I used to bartend a lot at the Shine, and people would say to me, which I loved, oh, yeah, I don't tip the owner.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense because we're the only ones who actually don't get a paycheck.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine why you would tip us.
Yeah, and we're the only ones that should be hooking you up with that little extra.
Right.
when we
If
do.
somebody's
Right.
going
you know
to,
what I mean?
with
Yeah.
But it's like, dude,
Yeah,
I haven't fucking taken a paycheck in 9 months at all. Nothing.
Here's a kicker.
But don't tip me. No reason to tip me.
Yeah, here's one for you. I went before I even owned the restaurants. Right, I just managed, but people saw me as the owner because they never saw the owners.
Right.
Oh, he owns. But I was like, dude, I make fuck. You know what I mean? Like you guys don't even know, And so I always used to get a kick out of that. But however, it's like I also like there's times where people come and be like, well, here's your tip, and I'm like, I'll go put it in the waitress's bucket, right? And they're like, well, that was for you, and I was like, look. They're bartending. I'm only here to help to make sure you get a better service.
Oh, for
Do you know
sure.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so and
Oh, and even like when Aaron and I bartend together at 9th Street, like
Same
people
thing,
will
yeah.
try to do that too. Like, oh, either way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, put this in Aaron's bucket or put this in your bucket or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, there's one bucket.
Yeah, there's one bucket. We
there's
split
always
it.
one
We
bucket.
take
We
care.
split it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it doesn't have anything to do with, who pulled your fucking pull tab.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Exactly. Well,
But it seems like it's with pull tabs
Yes,
that's
that's
like the
the big
most
one.
specific one.
Mhm.
And it's like,
Because you're magical.
because
Yeah.
I magically gave you that ticket that I knew exactly where it was.
I do know
Because
they
I
are.
dug deep
Yeah.
to the back right corner. Okay,
To the
I'm going
back-
to stop making fun of people but I fucking hate pull tab players for the most part. Some of them are very good, but for the most part, like just the words "dig deep" make me want
Yeah.
to dig deep
My favorite is
into their bodies with my fucking hand, very much like the Roadhouse,
Yeah.
the Roadhouse technique.
Yeah,
just,
that's dude. I
I
like
got that down.
like
I
that.
just hit my elbow on the wall and it hurt like a motherfucker.
I bet. I
Is that
think
what that was?
Yeah.
that wall probably won.
Yeah, I have a bad elbow. Okay, sounds good. We got to wrap this.
All right, love
so,
you guys.
Thank you again, and we
Thank
will
you.
see you guys next week.
Take care.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for tuning into the podcast. Had a lot of fun with Chris there. Taking you out today, I have lately just become re-obsessed with my buddy Guante and his poetry. But he's more than just a poet. He's also a fantastic rap artist. And the song that I'm going to take you out with today is called A Loud Heart. And it's a collaboration between Guante and Claire DeLune. I think is how you say her name, DeLune. And this is a really interesting song. I was just on YouTube looking at it, and it was described, it says, unapologetically political, sincere and honest. A Loud Heart is equal parts love song and protest song. Though Guante and Claire might tell you in the end, they're the same thing. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, check it out. See you guys next time.
Past the last exit, pedal to the floor, no radio. Thoughts in surround sound stereo, blasting with 2 bars in his head ain't right. So revise, rewrite, and remember her reaction to the first song written where she was the subject, and how her face turned red like the sunset in his rear view as he hits the interstate. Listening to art that is life imitates, art imitates, life imitates art. Sometimes it's hard to tell where one ends and the other starts, especially when you're an artist and you know words fall short, but you're still using them regardless. Yo, he writes the verses in his head and spits them to the wind over and over again with no beat, half a hook written to it. Now he only hopes that she'll listen to it, even though
halfway is as far as he can get. Deep down he knows, but he's still got his hands on the wheel, foot on the accelerator, eyes on the road.
he keeps moving.
Halfway is as far as he can get.
Keeps moving.
Deep down he
Keeps
knows,
moving.
but he's still got his hands on the wheel, foot on the accelerator, eyes on the
Yo,
road.
he was an amateur philosopher and part-time MC. She liked to do like the dew on the leaves and shimmer in the sunrise. Every Saturday should have come, there's no surprise that she'd eventually evaporate. He didn't know what to make of her at first, and bit by accident he started painting her in verse. See, she'd appear in the margins of notebooks, in between lines of poetry and logic formulas. And when they started to get close enough, see the sparks flew, and for the first time they both opened up. Philosophy and poetry and music spilling out onto the grass at the park where they'd laugh after dark, just to soak in the moonlight and bask in the stars. He shakes his head, then he's back in his car, freestyling out loud to keep from crying, doing 95 halfway to the horizon, even though
Halfway is as far as he can get. Deep down he knows, but he's still got his hands on the wheel, foot on the accelerator, eyes on the road.
he keeps moving.
Halfway is
Keeps
as far as he
moving.
can
Keeps
get.
moving.
Deep down he knows, but he's still got his hands on the wheel, foot on the accelerator, eyes on the road.
she couldn't understand the paradox when he attempted to explain it that day. That between every point A and every point B is an infinite series of halfways, and mathematically all movement is just an illusion. She knew it wasn't true, though when she said that she could prove it, she moved in, closed her eyes and they kissed. The uniformity of nature crumbled in between their lips, and he knew it wasn't possible, it couldn't exist, but preferred reality like this. And when she left, He didn't know what was real or true, all he knew was what he had to do. So he'll pretend that the smile on her lips exists and seem to make some sense from this darkness. And imagine seeing her from across infinity and dream of moving toward her regardless, even though
halfway is as far as he can get. Deep down he knows, but he's still got his hands on the wheel, foot on the accelerator, eyes on the road. And halfway is as far as he can get. Deep down he knows, but he's still got his hands on the wheel, foot on the accelerator, eyes on the road.